That was quick. We're live.
Do we have kilobits per second?
We have 427 or 4,700 something.
Live on the internet?
Yes.
The real internet?
The interweb, whatever you want to call it. We're here.
Hello, anyone.
Hello.
I'm Kim. Kim Fixes Things. I'm here with Buff Del Campo, the namesake of the Buff Del Campo channel. Johnny C. 1.5 points.
For it being early. we actually came on a minute early. I said to Kim, "You want to go live?" She goes, "Yeah, let's do it." And I pushed the button, but we were early.
The ceiling.
Why are we looking at the ceiling?
Here, can I adjust the camera? May I? He likes to be able to see his.
I like the Studebaker to show. I don't. She likes to put it on my fat belly, which I'm real self-conscious about because I've lost all that weight. I feel pretty good.
We'll just do this.
No. Then I look like just a head walking around. I had it all adjusted so the Studebaker was straight, and you come in and got mess with it. You didn't like it.
Studebaker is our be-all, end-all frame of reference.
I'm trying to get my drinks.
Well, actually, now the walleye of the camera is correct.
Look at the Studebaker.
Quit touching it.
Quit touching it. Don't touch that. That's worse. It's just back. It's just further. You just went the other way.
Oh my gosh.
Well, you can see the camera's crooked.
Turn it off.
See, I messed with it and I got it straight, and then you came in and decided to mess with it.
But see,
I don't know.
Lens distortion.
So, 9 o'clock entries.
All right, Buddy Carafano, you get 3 points. Mama, I'm 3. Colleen, I'm giving you 3 points too. Johnny C, you were so enthusiastic. I'm going to give you 3 points as well. Thanks everybody for stopping in on a Saturday night. I know that you would prefer to be at the club dancing, disco dancing, right? But you were like, oh, Buff Del Campo's on.
Oh, we're not going to the club at Buff Del Campo's on.
I better not go out. I'm staying home. I know it's a wild Saturday night. Call, tell all your friends. Sorry, can't come out tonight. Buff Del Campo's on. Daryl B, welcome to the stream. Patrick Sullivan, welcome in. Hippie Long decided to go to the club anyways.
Well, I think that's his work.
Oh.
So he's off to work on club kind of stuff.
That makes sense. Saturday night. Boy, growing up, I spent like every Saturday night at work till like 8 or 9 p.m. Man, did that stink. My friends are going out to have fun, going to concerts, doing stuff. I was working. My bed is calling. I understand that, yeah. I took a nap this afternoon. I'm not feeling my best, but that's okay because we'll just take it easy. We'll take it easy. And you luckily, I'm just like color comment. I'm a secondary character, so he can be in charge.
She's on autopilot this afternoon.
Buddy Carafano would rather go to a junkyard instead of a club. You know what?
Man, they're all gone.
I would rather be in the shop most nights. It's nice to do different things, though.
Crash's Roadrunner Garage came in. He made it.
Oh, how did I miss that?
I don't know. You went right past it.
Welcome to the stream, Crash's Roadrunner Garage. Thank you for stopping by. You know, it's really special that we have friends.
When we went out today at lunchtime, kind of late lunch, really. What was it? Oh, no, it's 12:30. So I guess it wasn't that late. Kind of early for us to be up and rushing off to somewhere, get ready, go somewhere. But my son had a bunch of friends and people, and so we all went out. We had a good time. Ate Mexican food that was outstanding.
Oh, McDonald had a car says somehow he got unsubscribed. You know what? Sometimes YouTube does that. just to see if you're paying attention.
I'll sit there sometimes. I see our subscriptions. I'll be looking at it. It goes down one. It's like, why did it go down one? Uh,
YouTube was making sure you were a real person.
Mama M3 or M cubed, whichever it is.
Napping during the day is very problematic because then I'm up till 3 working on stuff, and then I can't wake up in the morning, and it's just like an escalating counterproductive cycle. Yeah.
Before you got here, I was take the ladder, but I put it back because I was going to fix that black thing that goes in Studebaker, but I can't find the piece of plastic, and I don't know what you use for plastic. I didn't know if you used bags or whatever.
Yeah.
So I didn't do anything. I just put the ladder back. So
I need some thumbtacks or something to hold them up because
instead of tape
doesn't. Yeah, tape doesn't stay.
Well,
That's
it doesn't stay. It might stick to the other bags, or you
glare
might have to wrap it.
blocking.
What does it wrap around? Oh, nothing. I don't know. Yeah, something's. Yeah.
That's why it fell down.
That's why it fell down. The tape didn't stick. Imagine that. The tape didn't stick. Well, it was there for, what, a couple of months. Then it fell.
Old McDonald says, good because I need to know if I am real. You're not real. Nothing is real. No one is real. We're all actually just pawns in an AI-generated dystopian post-apocalyptic world.
Are we all AI?
You're not real. Did you know that? You're just a bunch of neurons. Honestly, we're all kind of just like ghosts. If you do the math, most of what we're made up of is just like empty space, because between the neutrons and electrons, there's tons of space, right? That's empty, right? So each atom of your body is mostly empty space, and each cell of your body is made up of atoms, so each cell is mostly empty space. So
I can't see any of this. I'm looking for the empty spaces.
Yeah.
I can't even see the atoms. Hey, John Cope, talking about the new Pope, has lots of posts.
Is woke.
There's lots of posts about the new Pope from Chicago.
Is self-proclaimed woke.
So
the Pope says he is woke. We should all be woke.
So the Pope knows about traffic.
I'm not kidding. I just read that.
So the Pope knows about traffic jams. That's what every time I go to Chicago, it's like
the most relatable Pope of recent times. He understands traffic.
Ah, Hippie Long's here. Hippie Long said he was got to work, and now he's here. But I guess he's got to work, so he might not be here very long. Don't know.
Welcome to the stream, John Cope. Thanks for being here. Oh, Hippie Long did come in.
Mm-hmm.
Welcome in.
Can you see that down there? Maybe my stuff here is in the way. Somehow this thing ended up. This screen ended up crooked. I don't know what happened. It got crooked. I don't know why.
The tape came off.
Well, but that's the side that's higher. So I don't know how that happened.
I don't know. It might be stuck on the table.
Something. Oh, it could be something underneath.
Can you deal with it for tonight?
I'll deal with it for tonight. It's just I noticed.
Otherwise, we'll be shaking the table.
I just noticed it's crooked.
You'll all have vertigo from the camera flopping all around.
Doors just opened, so a half hour.
Oh yeah, that's right. If you're at a club, it takes a while to start. And isn't Hippie Long out west?
It's in Fresno, California.
Oh.
Which is a pretty good sized city.
Boy, I hope your show goes good tonight, Hippie Long.
It's over in the Central Valley, and it's San Joaquin Valley. San Joaquin Valley. Yeah, San Joaquin Valley.
The night goes so much easier if it's a successful event. There's nothing worse than sitting there waiting for an event to be over. Oh, McDonald says it must be from that earth. I heard that there was an earthquake in Tennessee.
Oh, I saw some videos.
Eastern Tennessee.
Yeah, but they'll talk about a earthquake in Tennessee to be like 3 on the Richter scale.
It
And
was
you don't even, it
4.
was 4. Okay. But like when I was out west, there were ones that were like 7, you know? So, and it doesn't go up. It's not linear. It's like, I don't know. It's not linear. It's like the bigger number is like 4 times as big. You know, it's crazy. So I was in one that was a 7.2 out in Arizona. That was who got the last pack of pistachios? I did.
Oh, did you? Oh,
But you know what? You know what she did?
I bought it.
She bought the same brand, only it's a bag about this big, and she says those are mine. I've eaten a few of them, but ketchup for the win. No, no, no. I learned. Get a Chicago hot dog. I'm learning that there's some good things about Chicago, and the hot dogs are one of them. Because this little trailer down here where the woman sells the Chicago hot dogs, they're good, and you'd never want to put ketchup on that. Oh, 4.1 in Tennessee? Yeah, but it was over in Eastern Tennessee, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was over that way. I think it was, yeah, somewhere over that way. But there's a bunch of stuff on the internet about, on YouTube is faults in Tennessee waking up. Well, so you get a little shake once in a while. We had one in Ohio when I was up there that was 3 point something, and everybody was that's all they're talking about. 3 point something in Southern California, you don't even feel it. Just,
The new pope has commanded that ketchup is a mortal sin, and as long as you're immortal, you may sin the sin of ketchup. The good thing about it is you just have to ask for forgiveness, and you'll be absolved of your sin of ketchup.
Hipalong says he saw San Francisco and LA damage. Well, I remember a big one in LA where stuff fell down and people got killed and stuff. And the one I remember well, it was the first day of the World Series, whatever that was, in 1989 maybe. And it was centered somewhere around Santa Cruz or kind of in that area. Man, I was there for that one. I was south of there, but we could feel it. It'd be long. I was 80 feet in the air when one hit, small one. I moved 3 inches sideways.
Ooh, that's not where you want to be. Did anyone see video of it? It was, where was it now? It was in like India. They had an earthquake, and one of those buildings that has a swimming pool way up on top, and the water was like sloshing out of it. It was like, of all the places to be during a big earthquake, is in on top of a skyscraper with a swimming pool. Jeez.
Yeah, Coalinga quake leveled town in the late 70s. Oh, I was working in a wheel alignment shop in San Luis Obispo, and I had a bunch of brake parts like wheel cylinders and that kind of stuff, and all these shelves. And I was standing on my tippy toes putting this stuff on the shelf, and I thought I was getting dizzy. I grabbed onto the shelf, and then I kind of turned around, and I see everybody walking out of the shop, and the boss goes, "Earthquake." And then I'm like, "Oh, I'm not dizzy. The whole world's moving." And I let go and I went outside. That was the Coalinga quake. I remember that. But San Luis Obispo was probably, I don't know, 30 miles away, 40 maybe, something like that. But yeah, I felt that thing. It did look pretty epicentric. Ketchup on French fries is a must.
Yeah, I do still like ketchup on my French fries.
Oh,
I don't think it has the same connotations as putting ketchup on hot dogs, though.
McDonald says I was in the upper deck of Tiger Stadium on a 4+ hit. That was really something. Well, the one in how was it, 2010? It was right on the Mexican borders, that centered on the Mexico side over toward Yuma, Arizona. And I was pulling into, I had a shop that was in like a gated place, and I punched my code and I'm waiting for the gate to open. I was in my van. It always ran really well. And it was sitting there, started running crappy. And I'm like, what's wrong with this thing? What's wrong with this thing? and the gate all the way open. I pulled in, then I'm looking in the mirror to make sure the gate closes behind me, and there's an office building that has big square windows. All those square windows are going like this. They look like speakers going. Oh, I know what's going on. It's not the van. It's everything else. And there was a guy in there working on a motorhome, and he was up on top of the motorhome, and I saw him scramble down onto the ground, and it went on, seemed like forever. It was 1 minute and 29 seconds that thing lasted. And then I drove over there to see how he was, and he goes, "Did you feel that?" I'm like, "Did I feel it?" Yeah, I felt it, but it turned out to be 7.2. You could see all the dust coming off the mountains around there. Uh, 2 people in Mexico got killed, but that's real low uh, injury and death rate for a 7.2 earthquake. It's amazing. There's some countries that kind of thing happens and it kills like 25,000 people or something, you know.
Hippie Long says it's very rare to find cinder block homes in Cali. They grind to the ground. It's absolutely they have pretty strict rules about the use of like masonry construction in earthquake zones because people will die, and that's why like when there's a huge earthquake in California, it doesn't seem like that big a deal because not too many people get hurt, but it's because they're very strict about the way they have special building codes about they have to have like cross beams in walls to keep them from shaking and falling down and all that stuff and extra inspections and stuff like that because in places where they don't do that people die like that's why like a 4 on the Richter scale in uh, Tennessee or Ohio could be a lot more destructive because a lot of those buildings have never been shaken that way.
I had a shop in California for a while that was a concrete block, center blocks, and when they built that, they put all this rebar up through the blocks and poured concrete down in there, so the rebar was kept all that stuff in line. And then I moved to Ohio and I was watching build a. I just thought that's how center block went together. I watched them build center block building, and all it was just mortar and all these center blocks. And I go, "What about the steel?" And they're looking at me like,
Any steel.
"Steel?"
They don't use
Yeah, I couldn't believe
any
it.
steel.
I said, "This thing's gonna fall down."
If a building isn't several stories tall, they don't put any steel in it.
California's screwed. Build with wood, it burns. Build with block, it crumbles. Well, you got to be kind of careful, you know. Well, and they used to let you cut down all the brush and stuff, but now well, I hope they start doing that because you see the mess in LA. And there have been messes like that out where I live, just close to San Luis Obispo, burned like 25-mile long stretch of the county where because they didn't let anybody clear the brush out and limbs that had fallen down and everything. They wanted that to be left natural. Well, you know what happened when that caught on fire? Turned into a mess. Yeah, Johnny says, he says, being in California, I'm so used to quakes. 89 was a whopper, though. Yep, I remember that one really well. I remember that one really well.
Yeah, I remember watching that on the news. It was insane. All the big parts of roads fell down and bridges broke. And that's stuff that's built to earthquake construction standards. It still didn't hold up.
Oh, it was the Bay Bridge, top level. Came down like that. You see a car come along, just goes down in there.
It's not like it was a mystery or a surprise to them that there might be earthquakes someday. It was real bad. How did we get to talking about earthquakes?
Because something happened in Tennessee.
Because there was an earthquake.
What's his buddy Carpon says? Eating pizza with a fork and knife is a bigger crime than putting ketchup on hot dogs. You know, when I was a kid, I was probably, I don't know, 9, 10, 11, something like that. I went to some people's house. They invited me over for dinner, and I was there, and they had pizza that they cooked, and they all sat there and ate it with knife and fork. So I wasn't going to sit at their table and pick up the pizza when everybody's eating with knife and fork. So I did that, and it was like, this just seemed wrong. But they were neat and clean eating their pizza.
Wow. That's like pod people stuff right there.
So Ken,
Yes.
what did we do? We were up here last night. I took the radiator. She was working. I was not doing much. I don't know what I was doing, something.
It's overrated.
And then I took the radiator out of its frame and plugged the radiator all up, put pressure on it. But we didn't have water to dip it in, but it held pressure. But I really want to put it in water. But we need to do that during the day. We'll take it down to the house because we got water down there. Fill up a kiddie pool or something.
Yeah.
We'll have to video that. But that radiator got hit pretty hard in whatever this crash was this car was in, and somebody goobed it all up with solder
Keep finding
and
more and
painted
more
it.
collision damage on
Yeah,
this
and
car.
it's if it holds and it flows okay, we'll use it. Otherwise, I'm looking for an original Chevy Vega radiator. Doesn't matter which one; they're all the same height. I want the tanks off of it because I could build a nice little cross flow. If I have the tanks, I can make it any width I want and order a custom core for it. But if this one works, we'll just use it. And Kim, I don't know. We did some video on it, and I haven't put it up yet. I don't think. Man, I did so much video in the last few days. I don't know what I put up and what I haven't. The that part of the frame that was mashed in, that had all those shims in there, but everything was in the right place except it was ugly. So Kim took the control arm off, took all the shims out, beat it straight with a hammer, or beat some of the ugliness with a hammer, and made some plates and welded the plates in place, and then drilled a hole so you put the control arm back on. So there won't be a stack of shims this thick. There's supposed to be a couple of shims there to set the caster angle. So we'll I don't know. I was thinking we might show that, but I don't know. And then we ran out of welding gas in the middle of it. So she grabbed her, what is that, stick welder on a spool stuff?
Stick welder on a spool?
It's like a MIG machine, except it's called flux core. Flux core, which spatters and bubbles and makes a mess.
It is so much more like stick welding than MIG welding.
So she finished it with that, so it's not as pretty as.
It was stronger.
She hadn't really been doing MIG welding before she got here, and that's been a couple of years. So I was always doing all the welding, but then she started grabbing the welder and doing more and more. And I'm looking at her welds, and they're beautiful. They look like she's been welding for her whole career. Beautiful MIG welds, and I'm like, man, that looks good. Now I see this, and I go, ooh, oh yeah, that stuff. But it's strong. It'll be okay. But anyway, she fixed that part of the frame because I know there were people that probably didn't like that. I was ready to just accept it. She wanted to make it better, so it's better.
It's better. Once I had it stripped down and really got a look at it, I was like, ooh, I should do something.
Johnny C said, I've never experienced a tornado. They look frightening. I guess people living in those areas become used to them. Man, I was in northwestern Ohio, working with a guy, and it was a farm there, and they had horses and I don't know, other animals. And we shared a building. We had a building that half of it had a concrete floor, and that was the airplane shop, and the other half of it was a dirt floor that had straw on it and everything, had horses in there. So it's raining like hell. And the guy I was working with, his name was Steve. He goes like this, and he had the side door open. He had the roll up. Oh, he rolled the roll up door down and opens up the side door and slams it, and he goes, tornado. I go, he heard some noise that I didn't know what it was. He goes, go in the room. Let's stand between the horses. So we're in there standing between the horses. We hear all this noise, and the noise goes away, and the rain calms down. And we had to go get some parts. We get in this truck. We go about a block down the street, and there's a cornfield there that's flattened. I mean, it just all the corn was, and it was like full height corn laying on the ground. There's some people out there. There's a semi truck on its side in the intersection, and Steve yells out the window. The people goes, "What happened?" They said, "Tornado came through. 2 tornadoes came through." So man, he knew what the sound was. I wouldn't have known. I know there's people coming in, but I wanted to finish that little story.
Thank you.
Well, say something to him.
Kevin Smith, welcome to the stream. Steve Edwards, welcome in, guys. Kev, Kevin says he just came from a model car chat and is inviting some friends over here. Well, welcome any
Oh,
new people who have
thank you.
come in to hang out. We're just talking about, we just got started, so we're just talking about the weather. And because there was a uh, earthquake not really that near to us, but in the same state. So we were talking about earthquakes, and then we're talking about the thing about tornadoes that you might not realize if you've never been one is the sound. They're
See,
really loud.
I didn't know what that sound was, but he
It
picked up on
sounds
it.
like a freight train on top of you. It's just so loud. And
You missed Steve Edwards too.
where I said hello to Steve
Oh, you did.
Edwards.
I missed you saying hi. I'm
I
sorry.
did.
Okay.
So
And John Bossum's here. Hey.
welcome,
Yeah, I didn't know about
welcome
the.
in, John.
I had no idea about the noise. And yeah,
Oh,
you're right.
it's loud.
They're scary. I don't like being near
And then
tornado.
my experience with an earthquake, it wasn't a very big earthquake, but it was close enough that I was on a job site. We were building. I was doing surveying, so I was setting up equipment and making measurements on a job site, and the job was mostly over. We were just like checking some things, and they were putting in like a big retaining wall, but there wasn't a lot of heavy equipment. But it really it felt like you could feel the ground sort of rumbling, and it felt like when there's like a big earth mover running around. And I'm like, where is that sound coming from? There aren't any earth movers on this job site. Like it felt like the biggest earth mover. I don't know if you've never been on a big job site where there's trucks so big that when they roll around, like the whole ground shakes. It felt like that, but like there was no big trucks, and I was just like, this is so weird. And then later, like 3 or 4 hours later, they were like, yeah, there was a 5.0 earthquake in Ohio, and I was like, oh, that was an earthquake.
Dean Stevenson got an ad. You might want to read that. Zito?
Brushless power tools. Cool, Dean, you get 2 points. Kevin Smith says Tornado Palm Sunday back in 1980 in Toledo. That was scary. Most got new roofs.
Uh, One thing here, where there's a lot of, we're kind of in the hills, and the tornadoes don't seem to go through here. But the north end of Clarksville, right on the Kentucky border, it's flat up there. Man, they come through there and they just wipe out houses.
That Tornado Alley thing is really real. Like there's places that are so much more because of the topography.
Same thing in
Um,
Nashville. They just go roaring right through the middle of the city.
there's places where it's not that we could never have a tornado here, but it's just much more likely, several miles to the north. It's just much more likely. And there's more houses because Clarksville is kind of sprawling. And so they push into the areas that used to be farmland. So now when a tornado comes through, more houses get wrecked because they're in places that the land was cheap because it was just like farmland, and it was like, yeah, but that's where the tornadoes used to come through and nobody seemed to know. And now there's houses there, and they're never going to stop being there because people have another 40 years of payments to
Well,
not stop rebuilding them.
I get kind of discouraged with this piece of property because I want to build another building or put something. Nothing's flat. I mean, we'd have to do a lot of earth moving and everything to make something level to put a building. But every time tornadoes are around, I'm pretty happy we're in this area because we don't get
Yeah.
hit. And I
Yeah, the
think that's it.
tornadoes can't touch down because the air goes up and down so much.
It took a roof off a bowling alley. That's a big building.
Ooh. John says we had a tornado here in Virginia years ago, but the sky turned a weird color of green a few minutes before it hit. Yeah, yeah, because the clouds get really dark and swirly.
Helicopters.
Patrick Sullivan says in central Illinois they're common here.
We're in central.
Ooh.
I forget. He's probably told us before. We're in central Illinois.
In Pittsburgh, we got just the cold, extreme cold, which was miserable, but it was too mountainous to get a lot of tornadoes, and we didn't really get much earthquakes. So
How close are we to Clarksville, Tennessee? Oh, about drive about what,
we're
10
not,
minutes?
yeah, we're not far, but the tornadoes are north of us, and
The,
they are sort of common in the northern part of Clarksville, but in the
the,
southern part of Clarksville, we're far enough away that they just always sort of lean up that way.
see, Clarksville borders right on Kentucky border. There's a state line, just like a lot of cities like that. There's a state line road, but up in that area, and the airport's up there. So if we go to the airport, we drive along there, and there's always houses torn up from a tornado.
You know what it is? It's there.
Right in there.
There's a couple of trailer parks up there, and the tornadoes just love trailer parks. They just aim right
They
for
aim
'em.
for the trailer park.
Yeah.
Tornadoes aim for the trailer park.
That's how you know you're in Tornado Alley, because all that's left is the trailers that they brought in since the last big one.
So, McDonald says, I've had 5 tornadoes go over me here in Michigan. One was when I was at work. The ceiling tiles sucked up and everyone's ear. Oh, yeah, because the pressure's so low.
I have been in windstorms like that. Woo, that's scary stuff, because you don't know if the roof's going to stay on. Olive says there's storage advantages. If you build up over the side of a hill, you can put machines and stuff under it. Yeah, the barns up in Pennsylvania, most of the barns are on a hillside, so that they can bring the hay wagon on the top level and put the hay up, and then they can put the cows in the lower level, but they can still come out on a ground level.
What's it still 80 in North Dakota? 80, like the temperature?
Not bad.
I'm trying to read Dean Stevenson's before I read it out loud. You want to take a try at it?
He says there was a 7.2 on Friday, August 22nd of 2003. He was 200 miles away in Almarama, and the whole hotel was rocking. He was there doing land survey and test pit investigations for some kind of shape corrections. I don't know what that means exactly, but
he's a scientific guy.
Tornadoes are God's way of saying, get that off my planet. I don't know if that's exactly what they are. The weather moves. The sun is this giant ball of nuclear energy, and it's just whipping solar winds at our planet, and that gets stuff. It gets the energy spinning in our atmosphere. And if you want to, I guess that's God. Is that much nuclear power? Can you attribute any beyond God? How much can we really understand the whims of that amount of energy? So yeah, I guess it is God's way of saying, get that crap off my planet.
Well, when we study the solar system and you start seeing spacecraft that land on other planets and things and look at the weather, like imagine Jupiter or something.
Bigly.
We have a really nice planet to live on.
We do.
even with the stuff we have happening.
Our atmosphere is pretty impressive, because a lot of planets, the atmosphere gets blown away. But I guess my understanding from science is that because our planet has like an iron core, it has a really powerful magnetic field, and that manipulates solar winds in such a way that we can continue to have. And there's something about the moon too. Somehow the moon is really important in the atmosphere and the rotation and the tides, and there's a lot going on. There's a lot
and
going
it all worked
on.
out for us.
I mean, yeah, it's pretty wild the way that we have a pretty impressive
retired Inspector Bruce. Hey, Bruce, I somehow I ended up on your Facebook page today. Don't know how. Got directed there by an email or something, and I saw where you said I enjoy being retired. That's pretty cool. You going to use those Outlaws? Yes, I am.
Heck yeah.
That was one of the reasons I bought that car. Only I thought they were steel wheels with chrome, and I got there and they were cast aluminum Outlaws.
I thought they were aluminum. I'm really glad to see that.
Wow, is that nice? So, and the caps are still available because those caps are all rusty. So I'll pull them off and put the car on blocks or something temporarily, and then I'll polish them all up. I'll work on them a little bit, and then I'll put. And they're actually in pretty good shape, so I don't know if it's going
They
to take
look
a lot
good,
of
yeah.
polishing. And then I'll get the. Oh, and then I'll get a new set of caps.
And one of the
And I'll put
advantages,
them. When I buy new tires, I'll put them on my
they're a
car.
little wider, and then the aluminum is lighter. And supposedly, my understanding for performance is the less unsprung mass that you have to control, the better it is for your suspension. So a heavy wheel, if you hit a bump and it comes, flying up, reactionary, the lighter that wheel is, the easier it is for the shock and the spring to put it back down and keep it from bouncing, right? So the lighter your wheel is, that's one of the reasons why low profile tires are with aluminum wheels are superior, because the aluminum is light and there's less rubber, so the overall mass is less. So when you hit a bump, the suspension just puts your tire back down. You have better control and smoother ride. So,
Hippie Lunk says Outlaw center is $80 for 4. You know what? I looked and there's all different diameters, the centers. So I'm gonna have to measure the diameter, see what they are, and then chase it down again. And there's all different styles of centers for those things. So I don't know which one I want.
YouTube is hard because, like, when you're doing stuff on camera, people want to see nice things, right? And we're like poor. So, not poor, but
No, we're not.
economically challenged, right? Like, we've got plenty of money to live, but to try and do big YouTube things,
We don't go out and buy like a whole stack of new stuff and put a car together. We kind of work with what we got, and
we're a couple
then
$100 into this Spitfire, and like I'm already like feeling the
oh,
pinch, like.
Kevin was asking for a progress report on Spitfire. I went over it a little bit right when we came on, but almost nobody was in here yet. So, do you want to do it again, or you
The
want to go over it,
Spitfire,
or do you
the
want to?
Spitfire is about as torn apart as it's gonna get. Like,
Well,
I don't think.
how hard is it to hook up another camera so you can walk over there with it?
Oh,
Oh, I'm asking you for something that's crazy hard to do.
I can take a break and do that.
Okay.
Are you guys patient enough to let me hook the other camera back up and turn it on? You could talk about there was another question.
Okay, well, I see things here. It says
Yeah, I'll
L7815
do that.
tires aren't great for cornering. Well, the 14-inch, those Outlaws are 14-inch wheels.
That's the only thing I'm disappointed. A set
So
of 15s would have been nice.
so I'm looking at tires, and the 14-inch tires. There's not a lot of them around, but 205 70R 14s are available, and there's some Chinese tires, but there's also Hancocks, and they make Hankook factories right here in Clarksville. So I don't mind buying local stuff.
We need a sponsorship from Hancock.
Yeah, well, I mean it's American brand and they're close, so support the locals, you know. But then I was looking for on the front, I wanted a little bit smaller tires, but there aren't any. So I don't know what I'm still looking. I don't know what I'm going to do. But I can't buy tires today, so it doesn't really matter. I got other, we got to put the window in. Oh, here go the sirens again.
We got a lot.
Man, we got sirens.
And then we were looking at getting wheels for this, but I think we're just gonna stick with what we got because of money. Because I don't know where I'm supposed to get all the money to do all this fancy stuff this year.
Hippie Long says, I personally would toss the Spit and do the Ford as the no-name national car. Which Ford? My Mercury Ford or my Ford Ford?
He likes the other Ford. Everybody likes the other Ford. The new
the
parts
Ford.
car.
The Ford is a parts car. I know it looks good. I kind of like the paint scheme
It really
better.
shows nice on camera.
On camera, it looks real good, but when you get up close, it's a rough car.
It needs a bunch.
It needs everything. If you were to start working on that car, it would be a complete tear down, de-rust stuff, and then a build up, and you'd spend a lot of money on pieces and parts. But I bought it as a parts car, and it's a fairly complete parts car, I know.
I
But
don't know. We could give up on
but
something else.
what I'll but my car, my Mercury Zephyr, it needs a window. It needs a battery hold down. I think that's it for No Name Nationals.
Yeah.
And 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 so I can take that to No Name Nationals. It's like
Ready.
it's like a day away from being ready to go. And Kim's gonna take her dart, and it needs, what's the dart need? It needs we gotta do a brake job on it. So
Well, yeah.
so we gotta fix the brakes on it, and then it's ready to go. So we've got two cars that are No Name National ready.
It needs some sorting, but it's we could drive it. We could take it to. I already took it to a car show this year, and Stray Bullet, welcome to the stream.
Straight bullets here. I don't see. Oh, there he is. And yeah, good evening. And Gearhead 6971.
Welcome, Gearhead.
And
thanks for being here.
Who else here? JG Mopar.
I'm getting this camera set up so you guys can see the Spitfire. It's not really that great of a. It's a lot of work to get it going, just so you guys can see what's going on. But
JG Mopar UDX 76 is here. And
has anybody watched any of the videos we put out lately?
Yeah, we've been putting out more long form.
We've never
videos.
put out this much videos in such short time.
Well, and somebody, maybe more than one person, asked to do a more thorough view of the parts car. So I did a video that was, what was it? It's like almost 8 minutes just walking around the thing and talking about it. Buddy Carafano said, like the Ford taillights better. Yeah, me too. But
we were talking about, I like the trim package on that car a lot. And the paint just shows so much better on YouTube. On the camera, that is such a nice paint job. It's not really that good, but it's just the color schemes.
Oh, JG Mopar says, I just jumped over from 21's Live. You know, I've never been in 21's Live. The
Wait,
CB, probably CB radio or ham radio or something, probably CB radio. 21's one of the.
Well, if you go back,
one of the guys
said hello, because it's not really a competition. It's not even the same topic.
So
you want to see people be successful.
So 21 is one of the people that's always in 390 Wagon Master. And Wagon Master's like, I'm always there on Thursday nights. Unless sometimes he doesn't do his live. So then I sit there and wait and go, where is he? He doesn't come on. But other than that, I'm always there. And Kim has something she does. So any rust on the Futura frame? Yeah, they're
on the frame.
Not real. Well, it's not a frame; it's unibody. But yeah, up under the front fenders where it always gets, there's some rusty stuff there.
It's not all roached out. It's a Southern car.
It's not bad, but my Mercury's better.
No, but it needs a lot of love to get back to I think it might be a little too far gone to ever be a street car again. I don't know. Too far gone is relative. I've seen people fix cars that were so much worse.
And Mama says to scroll back up to see her comment. Where is she? Oh, we have some 195 something 14s if you're interested. Damien upgraded to 15-inch. I'll look tomorrow. Yeah, please do.
Oh, yes.
Because it was 195.
If they're in decent shape, we'll even pay for them, but we don't.
It was actually, I was looking for 175 or 185 70s for the front, but there just weren't any. So yeah, we'll see what it is.
You know what? We need 14s for my Dakota. Could really use some 14s, really bad. So, well, I don't know. If they're car tires, I think I need light truck tires for the Dakota. So
says, yeah, my monitor will fool me about dubious paint. Yeah, what I do like about that parts car, and Kim likes it too, is the Ford, which is a Futura. It just looks a little better. The color looks better. The way the chrome is around the wheel wells looks better. Just the way they did the paint looks better, than the Mercury. But Kim and I were talking about it. We were driving today, and I said, well, that was a Ford. And then when they got, what happened? Ford got the Futura going, and then Mercury had to have a version of it, and they had to do something different, which wasn't quite as nice as the Ford, but it's still mine's a nice car, so I don't really want it.
Yeah, his car is so much better.
I could refurbish that taillight and put it on the Mercury, and I could do that. Or and then the grill of the Ford I think looks better, but I don't know. It says Mercury on the registration. I might just leave it looking like a Mercury. But all that phony baloney uh, chrome strip, which is plastic rubbery stuff along the bottom that's just glued on and it's peeling off, I'll probably just peel that off when I paint it and never put it back on.
I've got a 360 and a 727 transmission we could put in now for it.
A 360, is that we're going to Chryslerize it?
Yeah.
See, JG Mopar, I went and checked out cars and coffee a few cities down from me. Holy smokes, a lot of money down there. Yeah, that's how cars and coffee are. Kevin Smith says, when I lived in Temperance, Michigan, they had a wailing siren that went off at noon every day. Hey, you know, I lived in Brookings, South Dakota. Same thing. They called it the noon whistle or something. And then if you watch, what's his name up there in New York? Help me, Kim. Main Street Auto.
Oh, South Main Auto?
South Main Auto, that's what it is. South Main Auto. It's a small town. And yeah, at noontime, that siren goes off every day. And a lot of times, he's working, doing a video, and that noontime siren goes
I
off.
bet you he loves that.
Patrick Sullivan says, well, torque boxes and whatnot. Yeah, I don't know. I think it's okay. It's got some surface rust and stuff, but
We could inspect it, but
yeah, but I'm, hey, we're gonna mess with the cameras now.
yeah, I'm sorry.
You
guys.
might go blank here for a second.
You'll still be able to hear him though.
We're still here. Oh, that looks like it works. Oh, there. Okay, now I gotta just swing this camera toward me.
No, just scooch to the side a little
Scooch.
bit.
Well,
Can you not see?
There's stuff in the way.
Yeah. I'm gonna wiggle this camera a little bit.
I don't know if I like it over here, but okay. Let's see. A racer will want that Ford body. Yeah, that's what I thought too. Maybe. And another thing that came with that car, it's got if you saw the video, it's got an 8.8 rear end, and we'll pull that and take it apart and see. Because the guy, he said, the owner, he said it was his son's or grandson's car or something. He was going to make a race car out of it. So that rear end came out of, I think, a 94 Mustang, and it was an 8.8. So we'll take that apart. He had no idea what ratio it was or anything else. We'll find out what ratio it is. Find out if it's a locker or limited slip, whatever you call a Ford. And I'll probably put that in mine too. Especially if I put at the time I put a V8 in it. At the time I put a V8 in it, I'll do that. Oh, you got a frozen camera?
It froze.
It froze. We have a frozen camera.
Well, it's not even cold.
Dean Stevenson says the aspect ratio profile isn't the issue. It's the total tire depth has to exceed 4.65 inches. A Lamborghini 335 4515 is okay. So is a 225 5016. You have to be able to absorb a 6-inch diameter pothole. Okay. Yeah, my Mazda had like, I don't remember what it was like, 245 35 19s or something. They were pretty low profile tires, and I was always concerned when I'd hit a big old pothole, but I never had one come apart from that. Although the left rear exploded one day on the interstate, and that may have been from previous damage. I don't know. It had 40,000 miles on it, and I bought the certificates when I bought that set of tires. They were Michelin, those fancy Michelin's Pilot Sport radials. Had 40,000 miles on it. They replaced the tire for free. So I was pretty happy with that. Oh, here we are trying to get this going again. Oh, that looks like it's working.
That's working. So you could see over on the right-hand side, there's a patch welded on the top of the frame. I'll go point to it. Actually, I'll aim a little better. But yeah, you couldn't get more torn apart. We're down to the bare frame now. See right here, this patch, and then there's a plate on the side.
Yeah, she got a plate on the side too. That's what I was hoping you should show from that side over there so they could see all that.
Oh, I don't think I got enough cable to get over.
Not enough cable. No. We'll just pick the frame up and turn it around.
Okay. I mean, it's not.
Kim, I got to move this camera a little bit. I am just not comfortable wedged over here in this corner.
Speaking of moving the frame, maybe I will move this frame a little bit out of the way. Now that I'm done working on this suspension.
Well, once we're supposed to have a few dry days without rain.
Yeah.
I'd like to roll that thing outside and get the window out of that. Oh, now I gotta wait because I ordered the those those rubber guides, whatever they are, those channels. I ordered those, so they're not supposed to be here for like 3 or 4 days. So, but then once we pull that window out and peel that bluish looking tint off of it, then we'll install it in my car.
Yeah. Hey. So I'm gonna zoom out because now that you guys got me talking about the car, maybe I'll get something.
I didn't mean you had to go to work. I'm just.
No, but people expect me to get something done. They're like, Kim, why don't you have the car done? I'm like, because I never do that.
I came up here 40.
I've been sanding and polishing and paint, trying to make everything look like not garbage. YouTube is a visual medium. It's a visual thing. And if you didn't notice, we pulled the motor. I don't know if anybody's watched any of the recent videos. A lot of people have watched. I think the one video was at like 500 views. That's really good. Our short form usually only gets a couple hundred views, so 500 is a lot. Thanks, everybody.
Dean Stevenson says, I'm working my RAV4 V8. I have 4 XLT rims, and I want to use Ferrari 240/55 tires. Well, I'm just glad I got those aluminum rims. For this car, I don't know what the width is on them, but I'm guessing they're 6.5 or 7 inches or something, which will be nice. So I can put, because right now it has 205 70s on it, 205 70 R14s. But they're terrible tires. They're outdated, worn out.
Oh yeah, they're a little bit. They're probably just gonna go in the scrap bin. They're so bad. They won't go on anything else. I guess they could be rollers for now, but.
Kevin Smith says, "What's your body design ideas?"
I'm trying to make him draw me up some things. He's still trying to figure out like tire size ratio and what the ride height would be on this frame.
See also want to see here. Hippie Long says, looks like generic safety yellow paint. Yeah, she wanted to make it show up in the video, and I guess it does that. And I don't really care. Nobody's going to see it unless you crawl under the car. I just don't want
it to be rust colored, because rust color does not show up. You can't even see it. It's like it's invisible.
Does the leaf blower run yet?
No. I got to get fuel line. That's all it needs is fuel line. They threw it away because it needed fuel line. They just wanted to buy a new one. They don't want to bother. People around here are not poor. They like to just buy new stuff.
What are you talking about?
The leaf blower.
Oh, the leaf blower.
Yeah, people just want to buy replacement stuff. They don't want to be bothered fixing things.
Yeah, it won't start, so they took it to the dump. And I took it from the dump.
Yeah, they don't. Who has the time?
So my body design ideas are, it's not going to have a bunch of compound curves. Not going to look like a Cobra or something where you got all this compound curves and everything. It's going to be, it's aircraft aluminum that doesn't form nicely like that. It's it'll have curves, but they'll be more curved than a Cybertruck, but probably less curved than most things. I still say it's going to be what I've said in the past. It's going to be kind of Chrysler-ish, like 57 to 61, kind of like some fins, little pointy fins on the back with the taillights and the fins, and maybe canted headlights up front, and something like that.
Here,
But
I
it's
got
going to be
this.
small.
I got this
Oh,
wishbone. Here, you
what are we going to pull on it? And
Yeah.
who wins?
You pull on this side. Oh,
Nobody
you can't
can see it.
I thought they could see. It would have been funnier if they could have seen. There, let's see. You pull this side of the wishbone. I'll pull this side, and when it breaks, whoever has the bigger part wins. Whoever gets the ball joint wins. Gets their wish granted.
No, it might break.
Will not break.
We need that. We need that wishbone.
So you guys can see.
What is a mook body or dune buggy? Mook. What's mook? Mook. I know who mook is.
I don't think it's the same.
Not the same mook. Does anybody watch mook? She doesn't do many videos anymore.
No, you know why?
She's busy.
She's going to school to be like a veterinarian.
Yeah, she's going to school to be a veterinarian or something. Yeah.
Some kind of vet.
But that's Junkyard Digs.
Poor veterinarian.
And she's.
If you work on Chevys, can you go to school to be a poor veterinarian?
So she appears in some
She shows up just to do
in his videos, but she doesn't do many of her own.
They got married. Did you know they got married?
I did not know they got married.
Oh, that was they did. They talked about it. They got married this spring.
I haven't been watching him very
hasn't
much.
been that long. They just did a video about they had some other YouTuber come down from Canada and sold them a car hauler. They're trying to pare down their fleet. They've got too many cars and they know it.
I can't imagine if you're working on cars having too many cars.
Oh,
Kim, we're getting a yard full of cars.
We
got to hide them. We got to hide them down the hill enough so you can't see them from the road.
Too many cars, but not enough good cars. We have to be, when you're collecting cars like at the rate we are, you have to start being real careful about what you drag home, because once you mess with it, it's yours forever.
Oh, Mook is a British, almost like a car, almost like a large golf cart. Oh, I didn't know that. A three-wheel Robin. What is that thing? That was a Robin. Oh, I wanted a.
Here, do an unboxing. Get the plastic.
I don't want it because it's gonna stay clean with this on here.
Oh, I see.
I've been wanting a whiteboard. She got me a whiteboard, but I'm gonna make some kind of easel so we can store it up against a wall, or if I want to draw on it during a short or something, I can use it.
Yeah.
Because I try to explain something and I got to use my hands, and it'd be better if I had lines to draw. Yeah, Reliant Robin.
Here, show them the box of parts too.
Sounds like you described a Carmen Gia with fins. Oh, okay. She just handed me a box.
Not a Carmen Gia, a thing, a Volkswagen thing.
Yeah, no, I have no idea. I don't really want to say. I just want to build it. You make comments on it when I build it. A lot of people probably won't like it. Somebody might like it. I don't know.
Hey,
I'm gonna build it. I'm gonna build it so I like it.
I thought of something important today. Can I tell you?
You have Bruce says, how about a body like a Volkswagen thing? No, it's gonna be a little tiny sports car. It's gonna be low to the ground. I'm not gonna have doors. You'll just be able to swing your leg over it, slide down into it, and the top will close. Or it won't have a top. But eventually it'll have a top. So it's gonna be very late 50s looking thing. A thing, but not a thing. Okay, this is a box of stuff I checked in. I think I did a short on it, but it's not up yet.
You can have the full screen so they can see what you're doing a little bit.
Okay, so this is a box full of stuff. It's like brake pads and new master cylinder for this the Sprite, or not a Sprite, but the Spitfire, and the brake hoses, the soft hoses, and trunnion kit to rebuild the trunnions, and transmission mounts. There's 2 of those. What the heck is this? Oh, wheel cylinders. New wheel cylinders. 2 of those. So it's a bunch of British car stuff. $171 worth of British car stuff. There's a lot of stuff here, so
Mostly like brake parts, the stuff that doesn't stand the test of time, no matter how good it is.
Most of the stuff on here is like $10.99, $28,
But it's all name brands, British
$5.98, stuff like. I mean, it's stuff from England.
Yeah.
So,
Hopefully.
well, I think there was one thing in here that was not from England, and it was from.
Just so we can get.
I don't remember where it was from. It was not from China.
No luxury stuff, just stuff so we can.
Just stuff we need to make the car safe.
Yeah, like you gotta have
wheel
cylinders. The stuff that's in there has been the car sat for 15 years, and it was a Willet run for this guy 15 years ago.
Hippie Long's going to work. Have a good evening.
Oh, thanks, Hippie Long. We'll see you soon.
Oh, you tore it open.
See, this is just the little wheel cylinders, but trying to free these up and expecting them to work properly again is just, here's $20 worth of peace of mind, you know? It's kind of cool.
So, yeah, anyway.
Yeah.
So, bunch of parts. So I went down the list. I checked them all in just like I was at work doing that. Whoa, I'm getting hit in the face with something. This.
Where did it go? How did it?
I don't know. You stepped on it. The handle came flying over here. No, it didn't quite hit me. So anyway, we got a box. I'm going to set the box full of stuff on the floor because it's in my way. So,
well, those need installed. I need you to get right on that.
You need them installed?
Install those parts real quick, please. And then I have them.
This Mama M3 since it's Buff's creation, I'm sure we will love it.
We need it. We could call it the something spot, Mini Fire.
Yeah, you came up with a good name the other day. You called it the.
Did I come up with a name?
You came up with a good name. It was so good, I wrote it down.
Did I really? I'll bet you it wasn't that good. You just in the moment it seemed good.
I wrote it down on a note in my phone, so I'm gonna look and see what it is.
It might be embarrassing now. You're like, why did I think that was
a Luma Wasp.
Yeah. Oh, the Wasp Fire.
A Luma Wasp is what you said.
Yeah,
I thought, that's kind of cool. Now you don't like it.
We're working on it. I don't like it. But that's okay. Because we'll just keep working on it.
Kevin Smith says, as long as you can stay away from Lucas Electric parts. Well, you know what? It'll have our wiring. I mean, it'll be simple. There'll be brake lights and.
I think the Lucas is just the voltage regulator on that car.
There'll probably be a Lucas voltage regulator, but like all the wiring to the lights and stuff, that's just going to be our wires.
We could just use a
simple
Chevy
stuff.
one-wire alternator or something simple like that.
Then you spend money. I mean, if this alternator works, we'll use it. If it doesn't work, maybe just charge the battery up before you go driving around.
The thing of it is we don't have a lot of expectation. Like, this is not a daily driver. This is a project car.
You know, you go down the road right now in a 1,000-pound aluminum car, and you get hit by one of these trucks that are all over the road, the big raised up 8,000-pound pickup trucks and big SUVs. I don't want to collide with one of those things. People are on their phone all over the road. You know, not a day goes by I'm not leaning on the horn to try to get somebody to get back in their lane. You know, I don't want to be in a little aluminum car like that.
Right there, that's the rear wheel wells. You can see them.
Yeah, the rear wheel wells are over there. So
paint that too.
Well, we need to cut that and fit it and everything, and then paint it.
Folks know Lucas. Yeah, I guess the Lucas is not the best sort of electrical feature.
Everybody complained about Lucas, and
I can build the car. We're going to rewire the whole car. We just find something that's easy to get off the shelf, low cost, that you can buy replacements on Amazon.
Like rolls of wire and toggle switches. That's got to turn headlights on. Click.
Analog.
On they come.
Analog, simple. You know.
Yeah, it's scary in the iPhone driver's world. Man, when I took the trash the other day, the day that I picked up that blower, leaf blower, somebody coming the other way, just coming across the road, and they got their head buried, and I'm way off to the side almost off the road, leaning on the horn, and I look up in the mirror, and they whipped it back into their lane, but they're just going down the road ballistic in some 8,000-pound truck, you know. And I guess if they hit something, they're not going to get hurt. I don't
Stray
know.
Bullet asks if you're going to leave the rivets exposed.
You know, I don't know. It sure is easier to do that, but I may dimple them all. I'll probably use pop rivets.
It would look cool to leave them
I,
exposed.
I've
I
got
think it would be neat.
I've got all the dimple dies,
Yeah.
and we can dimple them, and you can buy uh, flush pop rivets, and I can do that with aluminum flush pop rivets, and we'll bond the whole thing. So then the rivets only become you don't have all these point loads if it's bonded. The rivets are just an anti-peel device at that point. So we could do that. But it's a lot of extra work. So maybe I'll use dome head rivets some places, but places where it look better, we'll use some flush rivets. I was going to leave that go.
Leave what?
I don't know what you're after. Okay, go ahead. I thought you were going to kill the ads, but I would like one to come through.
I'm showing them there's the engine.
Oh my God, Bora Birkin feel. Could somebody translate that for me?
We pulled the engine out.
Oh, we've got ads right now.
So that's
Okay.
We're gonna paint that so it looks nicer.
Hang on, because they're watching ads right now. Just leave it there.
Only a couple people. I'm sorry, guys, for this. It was unscrewing itself.
It was unscrewing itself. Not like it's gonna fly. Yeah, and see, that's the other thing. I built airplanes a lot, so I don't have to be quite as careful here. Yeah, I just want it to look nice. It doesn't have to be airworthy.
That's right. It'll barely come off the ground. It just needs to drive on and off of the trailer, or maybe into town once now and then. But it's not going to be a high car.
Tim's here, and he says Uber ads.
Oh, okay.
Inspector.
Oh, you get 2 points for your advertisements. Thanks, guys, for being patient with us.
Inspector Bruce says ad for B&H Photo.
Oh, B&H is in New York.
And
they seem like a very reputable company to get.
And Buddy Carfano says AutoZone. Kevin Smith says where is Mexican Spec?
He had a live this morning.
He was moving a 69 Dart GTS that sounded really good, and he was moving it across Mexico. I guess he's got it for somebody.
If he's not home, or he's probably headed home, but he's probably exhausted.
Or he might be in a hotel somewhere. Yeah, he was on the road earlier today. Mama says Mama M3's got Gurney's commercial.
You get 2 points. Thank you.
Kevin says we need a moderator. I could moderate if I want.
Moderator? Did somebody say something?
No, it's Bora Birkin has been in here before, so I don't want to just kill whatever he said, but it's in a language that I don't understand.
Oh.
So I don't know what it says.
Please use English, because we don't know what you're saying.
Or if somebody could translate that for me, just cut and paste it into Google Translate.
Make sure it's nothing offensive.
I don't know what it is. And
gotta be careful.
Dougster's here, have no fear.
Welcome to Stream Dougster Potato.
And Tavo just stepped in. So
we are global.
Kevin says might need a wrench. If it's something bad, I'll take it off there, but I don't want to do that if it's not something bad. I cleaned that all up today, so
what did you clean?
That pen you have in your pocket, I got it working.
Oh, thank you.
So please don't write on grease with it.
I'm writing on blue tape.
Okay, blue tape's okay. Cause see, I wrote on these rolls of safety wire. What size safety wire they are?
I'm gonna write down the firing order on these spark plugs spark plug wires before I take them off, because that's why this engine didn't run before.
That's why the engine didn't run before, because whoever had that car had the firing order all wrong, and that's why it didn't run.
Wouldn't run with bad firing order. Runs now. It ran really good.
So yeah, we have no lack of
that's the
projects.
thing that saved this car, is that it started up for us.
So yeah, actually I was going to do the Ute first and Kim decided to do this first, so I guess we're
Well,
doing
I
this
looked
first.
at what we needed to do the Ute, and it was big. It was such a big project.
Like this isn't a big, like this isn't a big
Well,
project.
the Ute was a bigger project, and
We're
that's
gonna
saying
build a
something.
body from scratch, and it's not a bigger project.
I
And now
mean,
you got the
that's
whole frame apart. You got
so they're
everything off
saying
the
it's
frame. So everything except the lower control arm on the left side. I guess the rear suspension's still together. But
well, the rear suspension we already took sort of apart, and it has to come apart because we got to do the. Man, it's just never.
Kevin Smith says Kim will fix it in 2.5 seconds.
Well, it's gonna take a little longer than that.
Well, and that's why I drug that blower, leaf blower home. I saw that and I went, Kim fixes things. I picked that right up.
That's what I need is more things to fix.
So I figured, we'll use it for something.
Oh, heck yeah.
We could take it up on the roof of the house and blow all those boogers that fell off the trees.
We'll use it as a pre-charger for the turbo.
All those. Did you see all that crap on the roof that fell off the oak trees? It's like the same stuff that's on my car. You know what I'm talking about? Those wormy looking things that come off the trees.
Oh, yeah.
The whole house is covered with them. I don't really want to go up there, but maybe I'll have to.
I think maybe we should just go to the other camera for a little bit.
Go to the other camera.
The full camera.
Well, at least it could be seen what we're doing.
Well, if I do start doing something interesting, we go to that again. But right now, that's
Right now, you're not doing that. Let's see. Dougster says the starter on Black Betty, which is a 07 Hemi Ram, died today. OG starter, 206,000. My bud gave me a starter from his Hemi Ram. It wasn't the correct one, but got starter off and we'll get a new one tomorrow. Blue Grit's here. Good evening. Just got in. Buff and Kim, will you be making the parts car into a purpose-built drag car? Probably not. But there's a lot of good stuff on that car. That's why I bought the car. I was looking for a window. I'll tell you what happened. That car was the window. I found one window new in a box, new old stock, $695. Or I could buy a whole car for $1,000. So that's why I dragged that thing home. So I got a window, and I got an 8.8 rear end, and I got the set of wheels, and I got a extra tail light that's got one little spot on it I can fix, and then I can polish that all up, so I'll have an extra tail light. The grill's good. There's body panels on it that are good. There's a lot of stuff there, So, yeah.
Yep.
But I'm not. I don't really plan on using that.
The car has keys in it. It's got the steering. It's got all the suspension. It's got.
I did drive it. She pushed it with the skid steer, and then we drove it down, or I drove it down.
Driving it.
I drove it down into driving a car without an engine in it. I drove it downhill and turned it into a parking space so it can't be seen from the street. And it steers, a little heavy feeling without the power steering, but it's okay. Inspector Bruce says, I'm picturing a body like a Taylorcraft or Ford Tri-Motor without the wings. It's going to be hopefully low and wide, look like a sports car, like the size of like a, kind of like the size of a Spitfire. It was like a MG midget, that kind of size, but more squared off.
More gooder.
I kind of want to show a picture. Yeah, Stray Bullet says, yeah, it's got an 8.8. And the guy, I think it was his grandson or somebody who was going to build a race car and then started working on it and then just left it in his yard. So eventually he wanted it out of his yard. That's how I got it. But because the guy never finished the car. So it's got an 8.8 out of I think a 94 Mustang, but he didn't know what ratio it was, or if it was whatever they call the Ford, a locker, knows nothing about it. So we'll pull that out, take it apart, and find out what it is. But when I put a V8 in that car, I'll use that rear end. So I'm glad to have that. And of course the wheels, I'm really glad to have that. MGB GT. Yeah, I don't know. Sort of. I think you're all going to be surprised. It's going to be kind of low and little fins on the back. Kind of like, because what I have in mind is, well, it's hard to describe. I'm just gonna do it, and
You're just gonna do it?
just gonna.
That
Yeah,
sounds like a lot more.
I could draw it all up in CAD, and then I got to follow the CAD drawings. I'd rather just sort of be like a sculptor and do it, you know? Thanks,
Oh, I
Walt.
remember what I wanted to ask you earlier. Can I?
Oh, hey, Mom. Happy Mother's Day in a few hours is what Blue Grit says.
Yeah, happy Mother's Day, all the
Oh, yeah,
moms.
Mother's Day's coming up, isn't it? I just watched a video about, who was it had the video about Mother's Day? Stray Bullet says probably at 327 rear end. I had an 89 Mustang for a while up in Ohio. It was a company car that I drove for a while. It had 327 gears. It was an 89 Mustang 5.0, and the guy had put a chip in it and done a couple of things to it. And that car turned into 12s, and it was that was a nice car. And the 327s were a good compromise between highway gears and something, you know, that you could still drive on the street, but it made it go pretty good too. Try it, Kevin Smith says, I'm sure we'll love it. I don't know if you'll love it. I expect a lot of people go, I'm getting out of it. I don't want to see some crap. I don't like this thing.
Just try and appreciate it for the fact that it's something unique, right? And how many?
JG Mopar says, I have to run. Have a great night, all.
Thanks.
Great Sunday night. Okay, JG Mopar. Maybe we'll see you Tuesday night when we do our live, or for sure I'll be in there at 390 Wagon Master on Thursday. Blue Grit says, Buff, will you make a sketch on the new Spitfire body airframe experience?
I
just wing it. I'm gonna just kind of wing it, but wing it, yeah. Aircraft experience, I gotta wing it.
Didn't want to.
Tavo says Mexican Spec had a live going earlier. Apparently, Mother's Day in Mexico is today. Ah, Kim's running a impact wrench over there.
Impacting.
Yeah, I was on his live for a little while, but we had to leave, so we had some other function we had to go to.
Look at this silly thing.
I can't see what you're doing because you don't have the camera on. You're talking to people about what you're making, and you turned your camera off. Can I turn the camera on?
I figured out why the starter sometimes just
doesn't
spins.
Start.
See, it's gummy. See how it's gummy?
Oh, that looks nasty.
That needs cleaned up. It does spin, but it doesn't.
Are you sure that wasn't on fire?
It might have been on a little bit of fire. We ought to be able to fix that right up, though. You can fix this.
Yeah, I was on Mexican Specs live, and as he says, Mrs. Spec or Mrs. Mexican Spec, whatever she is, she was doing the talking and he was doing the driving.
That's awesome.
But he was having fun. That was it looks like a pretty fast little Dodge Dart he was driving, 69 Dart, and pretty nice. Pretty nice roads he's on in Mexico. Tao says, I missed his live. Watched the replay. Okay. It ran about 2 a.m. there. Yeah, it was like, what time we had to leave here at, what time did we leave here? Kim, we left here about we left here at 1. Wasn't it? Or maybe it was 12. I don't know. Yeah, 12. We had to meet up at 12:30 or something. So yeah, we left here at noon, and I just said a couple of things and said goodbye in the chat and told him I had to go. So, and we went. That's good. That means his business is going a little bit. He's, I hope he can sell some cars and make a living doing that stuff, because the guy does. He takes care of his customers, and it's good to have somebody out there that's able to get us cars like that. Of course, they're all used cars. You have a link to Mexican Spec channel. Oh, let's see. Kim, how do I find that up here? The his Instagram.
I think you just have to say no. We don't have that right now because we're not set up to do that
Yeah,
here.
we're in the shop.
But
I'll
you
tell
can
you what
check
you
out
can do.
Mexican Spec on
I
Instagram.
think he has his Instagram is the best place to look at all his cars, but
His
he has
YouTube is
he has a
Mexican Spec as well.
he has a I'm trying to think of what his website is.
He has a website?
He does, and I went and looked at it. It's all categorized, and you can look at each car. But actually, his Instagram is the better one. It really shows everything with all the views of all the cars and tells about them and has the prices and everything. So um, the Instagram's really better than his website, um, or at least that's my opinion. He might not like that. That's my opinion. Just put Mexican Spec in the YouTube search. Yeah, if you put it's like MexicanSpec.com or something, or man, I don't know.
He's got lots of links. When he's around, we'll make sure you get some. But if you go to on YouTube or not YouTube, he's on Facebook too. If you search Mexican Spec in Google, you'll start finding links.
Let's see what I can find here, because I might be able to just pick it up.
Oh, that's not very good content.
Why not?
I don't know. It's a little dry. I guess that's how live games go.
Yeah, it's MexicanSpec.com. It's MexicanSpec.com is what it says here. So try that.
Excuse me.
So I'm sorry that was bad content for a second, but
I mean sometimes you get a little dry if you persist on something.
no, I just wanted to say that. I knew it was something simple, but really his Instagram's better. Oh, Dean Stevenson says it's Mother's Day there too. Yeah, because it's already tomorrow. It's not tomorrow here yet. It's never tomorrow. Have you ever noticed that?
There's always tomorrow.
Dean Stevenson says, but my kids work, so they're visiting today. Kevin Swift says, bless you, Kim. Oh, from the sneeze. Yeah, all says Mex is probably still on the road or at his mom's. Yeah, I don't know exactly where he was going. Was he picking that car up or was he delivering it to the border? I don't know which it was. Yeah, and Dougster says, bless you, Kim.
Thank you. Lots of allergies this time of year.
Okay, Rossa. In the chat, sacrificial anodes are still a thing with cooking system corrosion. Is that what you were doing out there, Kim?
No, that's electrolysis rust removal.
She was doing she had a battery out there with some jumper cables and trying to take rust off some parts. But it got late and we didn't want to leave the thing outdoors electrified all night, so she disconnected it. But I don't know about the sacrificial anodes. Cooking system corrosion. Let's see here. Dean Stevenson says, bless you, Kimbertini. It's been 24 days since your last sneeze. Straight Bullet says, it will be tomorrow, though. Ross Rosa, cooling.
I'm going to have to buy a motor mount.
Oh, cooling. Oh, the thing with cooling system corrosion. Oh, I know what you're talking about. No, I never messed with that very much. And I had radiator shops for quite a few years, but I never messed with that. I always put chemicals in the system, like good coolant, antifreeze, and sometimes a rust inhibitor, and just changes stuff often. And what I did a video on it one night. You take a voltmeter and you put part of the voltmeter in the coolant, and the other one ground it somewhere in the system. And if you have 0.05 volts or more, you're starting to get enough acid in the system that you really want to drain the coolant, flush it out, and start over. So then I just keep it so you didn't have any voltage in the system. So yeah,
Most pipelines have sacrificial anode
most
system.
pipelines do.
Yeah, because the flow of gas in a pipeline will cause voltage. And if
Oh,
you don't have, they're usually coated pipes. Anytime it's not a plastic pipe, obviously, but the flow of the gas will cause voltage. And so then you'll have any place that makes contact with good earth, you'll get really severe corrosion. So they'll have anode bags and they mark them and they're supposed to be inspected periodically and replaced so that the pipe doesn't rot out because then there's explosions.
does anybody hear all that with Kim? I think I was watching a mic. It looked like they could probably hear you, but she's a little ways over there. Dean says, Jugginator, hi, all of today I'm talking with my kids, all of them together for the first time in 5 years. Well, that's pretty cool.
That's awesome.
Yeah, we had a whole family of people together today with my son and his friends and his girlfriend, their parents. It was pretty good. And we all went to a Mexican restaurant, had great Mexican food.
Yeah, that was really friendly conversation. That was a nice
Really
day.
good, really good.
I wish I was
Mexican
better.
restaurant.
My head was not right.
Well, I kind of woke Kim up early to get
Well,
over there, so
I knew we needed to, but I just
she was groggy till we got there, but you did real well while you were there. And then
I
you
really
came
tried,
home,
but it was exhausting.
and then you came home and you rested for a couple more hours, and now
We're here.
we're here.
Working, always being social, keeping things.
Tim says Kim gets 5 points for sneezing,
Thank you.
so Tim's giving away points now.
They're Tim points.
Tim points.
They're special.
You better keep track of your own points, Kim.
Oh, really? He doesn't have a. Does he have a
He
spreadsheet?
doesn't have a spreadsheet for keeping track of
Sheesh.
Tim points.
A spreadsheet. A database.
A database.
Points database.
Kevin Smith, Happy Mother's Day, Mom. Rest in peace. Call or visit your mother. You never know if you'll see her again. Yeah, my mom. She passed away in 2000. So it's been 25 years. Doug, sir, Uncle Tony made a scary statement about potatoes and motorcycles. I did laugh, but it's not true.
He did do a motorcycle safety.
He did a motorcycle safety thing today.
What did he say about the potatoes?
I don't remember, but I know what he was talking about, keeping 2 fingers on the front brake. Tavo, the potatoes were in the cars running over motorcycles. Oh, the potatoes were in cars running over motorcycles.
Oh.
Kevin Smith, my buddy Butch son passed away Friday. Oh no.
I'm sorry for your
Pray
loss.
for him and his family. Dean Stevenson said he also said half the population has an IQ below 98. By definition, half the population has an IQ of 100 or less. Don't mean to argue. I don't really like IQs. I like tests that test. Now I can't think of it, so it shows where my IQ is.
Yeah.
Aptitude tests. Because when I take aptitude tests that have to do with mechanical stuff or electronics, I score really high.
Yeah.
I mean, I just ace everything. And then when I'm taking tests that have to do with other things, I don't score so high. So, yeah. Dougster says, when potatoes go bad, they really go bad. They sometimes become vodka, other times bread. Kevin Smith said, motorcycle crash. Oh no. Oh no. In a motorcycle crash. Yeah, and that's something that Uncle Tony had brought up, was that how many friends have been killed in motorcycles. You know, it's Dean Stevenson, but this doesn't make sense, Dean, but haven't totally had the full frontal lobotomy yet. Kevin Smith was an organ donor, so he would go on helping people. I think my driver's license says I'm an organ donor. I think it does.
That's a generous choice.
I know I checked that box, but I don't know what it shows up on the Tennessee license.
I don't know. It keeps
on my Ohio driver's license. It was right on the front, and I don't know how it shows. I don't know. I'll have to look at the license.
If I'm already gone and I'm not using it, I suppose you might as well give it to somebody else if they can. Although I don't know that anybody really wants it. Most of what I got is half used up already.
Ross,
they want my organs. They're pretty desperate.
Ross, my mom passed in 2012 in December, her birth month, and my dad passed in June of 2001. Oh.
Sorry for your loss. I hope that it helps to mention them. Sometimes it feels good to acknowledge that they're gone and that you miss them.
Yeah, my mom passed 25 years ago, and my father 7 years ago. My father lived to be 91 years old, so his last 6 months or so got kind of rough because this happens to so many older people. He fell and broke his shoulder. So many people fall and break a hip or something, but he broke his shoulder, and that was the beginning of the end. He just couldn't get around well anymore, and he ended up in a nursing home, and they were doing rehabilitation stuff, but he just didn't want to get out of bed anymore and just struggled with life every day. And I think he kind of gave up. Dean Stevens says moldy rye bread is best. It gives you LSD zest.
Don't teach them that. They'll be eating all the junk bread.
Oh, man. Buddy Carfano says, my mom passed 15 years ago on her birthday. Cancer sucks.
Oh, my.
You had a friend that died a few years ago, and I remember how old he was. I think he was 83, but he died on his birthday. I remember that. How you guys seem to do okay on those aptitude tests. Finish them and sit quietly looking around the room at confused faces.
Those aptitude tests absolutely favor people who are really good at
the aptitude test. That's what happens to me. They go, oh, take all your time. Keep working at it. I go, I finished it, But then the other parts of the test that are the parts that are stuff I'm not good at, yeah, I work on them all the way to the end, and I've struggled with them. But the electronic and the especially mechanical, I was aced everything. Kevin Smith says bone cancer for mom, suffered for 2 years, so that's not good. Tavo staring at sheets of paper like deer in the headlights. Yeah, I probably won't be taking any more of those tests. I'm too old. Nobody cares about me anymore. Why test me? Let's see. Dougster says, as an avid motorcycle rider, my advice is pay attention because no one else is. You on a motorcycle have to do 6 times better than anyone else because your safety depends on it. Blue Grit says, my dad is turning 93 this August. After getting his last car insurance bill, he decided to quit driving. My father started losing vision in one eye, so like from the center down on one eye, he just couldn't see, and he goes, well, that's it. He goes, I shouldn't be driving, and he stopped. Kind of funny, a year or so before that, he had to get his license renewed. He lived in California, and he had to go in and take a test, and he drove, and the woman that rode with him, before she rode with him, she says, "Put the windows down in the car." And she walked around the back of the car. I was walking around, and he said she'd whisper, "Where am I? Where am I?" And he'd say, "Right rear, left rear," wherever she was, and she was good with that because he knew right where she was walking around. And then he drove the car around, and they gave him a license for 10 more years. And he was like, he just shook his head because he was like 89 years old, and they gave him a test, they gave him a license for 10 more years. He says, "This is stupid." Less than 2 years later, he quit. He just, that's enough. I shouldn't be driving a car. Last time I rode with him, he was in his late 80s, and we're on a 4-lane road, and he was in the lane toward the center, and he was trying to he knew he had a right turn coming up. And I remember looking over look over into the mirror on the right side, and he sped up and got in a hole and then made his right turn. And he knew exactly where he was. I said, pretty good driving. So we got some ads coming up. I'll probably be quiet for like at least 15 seconds or so to get rid of the ads.
That's kind of neat. Check this out. Can you see that? Oh, it won't focus on this. Check this out.
Okay, what do you got there? Okay, we got ads. So, oh, you took a motor apart. Maybe they're watching you.
It's the motor. Got some junk in it.
So you're gonna bring it up here and show it?
Here, check this out. Look, instead of the brushes being.
Okay, well, I want you to show. I'm gonna swap this, or you can show it over there. Where do you want to show it? Here, Kim, you can show it here. Over on this side of me.
Okay, instead of the brushes.
My hands are clean, so I really don't want to handle this goofy thing.
Traditionally, the brushes are here and they go this way, but instead they're on the end. I've never seen that.
I've never seen that either. Commutators on the end. Mom M3 says a YouTube ad. Cool. I think that's 2 points.
Yeah, that's 2 points.
Dudster says I renewed my car insurance and my rates went down. Still $647 for 6 months for PLPD, but I pay every 6 months and save $200+ every renewal. Dougster says Pandora ad and Google ad. That's a couple of points.
Yes.
So,
boy, this is going to work so much better.
Clean it all
gummed up.
To get rid of the gum.
Yeah.
Tavo says no ad.
Some things just need cleaned.
No ads for me. No chance of ever getting enough points for my Studebaker. Man, I just redid my will. I should have put Kevin Smith in there for the Studebaker.
Kevin Smith and give him the Studebaker.
Then my will. Somebody be going, well, who's Kevin Smith? I bet you if you looked up Kevin Smith on the internet, there'd probably be 500 of them.
You think?
I don't know. I mean, you see anybody with the last name Smith, there's going to be lots of, hey, look, Tavo, hey, look what we got to do. I got to walk over there because he didn't get an ad.
Tavo!
Okay, Kim, I've got to go around and there's a lot of stuff that trip and fall over here, but I got to get over to the thing. You know the thing.
The thing with the stuff?
Thing with the stuff.
Okay.
And I got to turn on the. Is it going? Yes, it is.
Thank you, Tavo.
So we can light up the Studebaker, but we've got the switch way over there.
That was incredibly generous.
I have to walk.
We appreciate you so much.
Thank you, super chat. Kim's gonna do her super chat dance.
Do a little dance, make a little laugh. Get down tonight. Get down tonight. This is gross.
Yeah, I know. That's why I didn't want to handle it. You handle me this thing. You put this greasy thing right where I cleaned off my desk. You put this. Looks like it's been on fire.
No.
And you put it there. Oh, it's filthy though. Okay, so now I turned off the super chat.
Thank you, Tavo. Appreciate you.
Dance, Buff. Kim's busy.
Yeah.
See an old fat man dance. Well, I'm not as fat as I used to be. I've still got a little. I got a little here. I could probably get rid of it. But I lost 100 pounds in '07. I pretty much kept it off, so I feel pretty good.
Yeah.
But if I lose more, my face starts getting kind of skinny and I look kind of funny. But I don't
You're
know.
not fat.
I guess I
You
could
just
do
have
it.
a belly.
I know. I got a little thing here that's a little belly stuff.
It's
Come on,
tough
Buff.
to keep that.
Buffmeister. Got a rug. But Kevin Smith, $300 a year for my progressive insurance. I called other insurance company and they laughed and said we can't beat that. You know, I think my car. Kim has her insurance with. Who is it with? One of the classic car insurances.
Mm-hmm.
Which one is it?
Haggerty.
Haggerty. So I think I'm going to call them because I really need to get that car insured with full coverage on it because I don't want to lose that car. If I lose that,
a lot of money invested.
I got too much invested in that car, and I don't want to take that kind of loss. So, but I don't put a lot of miles on. Right now, I'm limited to 8,500 miles, so my insurance isn't real high. I'm limited to 8,500 miles per car.
Yeah, and
that's a lot of miles.
We don't go anywhere near that much ever.
So, Kevin Smith Buff dances like me. I saw something else here I wanted to read. Where is it? Oh, Tavo says all my car insurance is under $200 a year, but that's third party only liability. Yeah, that's what we call it, liability. Ross, is it Ross? Am I pronouncing that right? Avanti 2 or Studebaker Daytona? It's the one up behind us there. That's a 1961 Studebaker Lark. That's just the nose piece. The whole car is
here in pieces.
It's on the other side of this wall under a roof, and it's from the firewall back. It's still together. Oh, I guess it doesn't have any doors on.
We've got disassembled to paint, and then it had to move from.
Well, I was going to build a new frame under it, but I was in Arizona and I had a shop there, and I started on it, and then the job ended. We lost the contract, so I had to move it all back here. So I made sure all the nuts and bolts are in bags, and they're marked. It's like most of the bags only have like 2 bolts or 4 bolts or 3 bolts in them, and they're labeled where all the bolts go. And all the pieces are in these there's tubs up there, say Studebaker parts on them. And the car's out. Oops, that didn't sound good. Oh, that's gonna come flying apart, isn't it?
No.
I don't want that spring to come flying up in your face. Okay, yeah, I don't think you do either. So she's over here trying to take apart something with a lot of spring pressure on it.
Spring.
So yeah. So it's a disassembled complete car. But I had a front end out here, chassis, subframe for a '79 Trans Am. So I was going to build a frame around that for the Studebaker. But you know how projects are.
We have a lot of projects.
We got a lot of projects. We won't run out of projects. Now I'm talking about, I was telling Kim, when I eventually put a V8 in the Z sled, whatever it is, I could take that 6-cylinder, that 200 cubic inch 6, and just put it in the Studebaker with a Studebaker frame, and that would probably be a nice little driver, So, and it's a rust-free car, so
might be cool.
It might be good. Kevin Smith says, but I only drive 300 miles a year.
Yeah.
I probably drive a couple thousand miles a year, but I used to drive like just back and forth across the country over and over and over and over. But now, since I'm retired, we've been one trip to Dallas, Texas, and what else? We went somewhere else.
We had to go to Maryland one time.
We went to Maryland once. That's 720 miles up there. 720 or 760 up there and 760 back. And then, Well, in Dallas's, Dallas Brown, we took his, what is that thing? His vehicle anyway to Arkansas a couple of days ago to pick up the
I didn't go to
car.
Arkansas.
She didn't go to Arkansas. I went,
'Cause
and we did that in one day. That was almost 600 miles, and it took us about 2 hours to load everything up. And it was, I got down there, and of course, you know how things are. You got to pull uphill onto the trailer, and it was uphill a little, and grass and muddy, it was wet. And Dallas is up there. I didn't even think about it. He's got to come along, he'd pull the car about this far, and then I'd move a block, and then he'd shorten everything up, and then again. Man, we got a power winch here that I wish I would have taken it, because we would have brought it up, but I didn't think of that. Let's see here. Dougster says Haggerty Insurance is from Traverse City, Michigan, known for their cherry production. And it's a beautiful place in northwest Lower Peninsula to visit. Highly recommended. Go to Sledder's Bar for dinner. Kim doesn't like Arkansas. No, Kim doesn't like to ride long distances in the car.
That's too many hours.
And if she and I go somewhere, like we went to Texas, we stayed in a hotel, and it was...
We took our time.
We took our time. Days. Because if I try to... Like when I go to Maryland, it's 760 miles. I don't stop except for gas, take a leak, and roll. If Kim and I go, it's at least one overnight, maybe 2 overnights. She just can't. She's got back problems. She can't do that in the car. So I knew this was going to be
a that's trip. Why you had
we were just going to hustle up and do it. So, and Dallas, no name nationals, AHRA Dallas, in a live one night, he said he'd do that. And I go like, really? And he did, and we had a good time. We had a fun trip.
You and Dallas were talking.
Oh, we talked for hours and talked about everything. And I got to drive his switch pitch. That's a pretty cool thing. Should I talk about that? No, I'm going to say switch pitch every day.
Only if the chat wants you. Give them permission, or get permission to chat about Dallas.
Dougster says, Mr. Brown, you have a bitchin' hot rod. He's singing this. I'm not sure what song that is. So he has a Suburban, an older Suburban that has a 400 cubic inch Buick that he built, and he's got a Turbo 400 with one of those switch pitch converters. So it's like a high stall speed converter.
Is it a Super Turbine 300?
No, I think it's one of those converters, but it's in a Turbo 400. So he's got a light on the dash, and when you start out, that light's on. And then 20 seconds, it changes from a high stall speed converter to like a normal stall speed converter, and it feels like it shifts. But if you're going up a hill or you want to accelerate, you just bump the brakes, and it's triggered by the brake light switch. So all you do is just touch the brakes, and that light comes on again. You hear it sounds like it downshifts, but it goes to the higher stall speed converter, and it pulls so nice. 20 seconds later, it goes back to the other to the standard torque converter. It's pretty nice.
Yeah, that's like a forgotten technology. They made it for a couple of years, and then they started just making overdrives.
So why is Arkansas written backwards? Sassnakra. Kevin Smith wrote Arkansas backwards. Oh, you need a mirror to see that. So if we look in a mirror, it'll look right. Stray Bullet says the E4OD in my 8th generation F250 works like those switch pitch torque converter transmissions. Really? I didn't know that.
I didn't know there was anything else that was that way.
Dougster says, sung to hermits. Mrs. Brown, Mrs. Brown, you have a lovely daughter, but this is Mr. Brown, you have a bitch and hot rod. Okay, to that that same.
Mrs. Brown,
Now she's going to be singing this. Why'd you say that?
wrong,
Ford stole GM's idea.
wrong.
Well, you know what? Dallas was telling me the history of that converter was from the Buick Dynaflow. Well, the Dynaflow was a one-speed automatic transmission. It didn't shift gears. It only had the two-speed torque converter. So that's what a Dynaflow was. And I remember those things from the 50s and 60s. And I remember everybody called them slush boxes. You know, they were okay. But then they continued to use that for a few years in another transmission. And then they quit doing it. It's expensive, you know, so they just didn't do it anymore. And
I think that the lockup torque converters
the lockup torque converters took its place.
And you can't make it do both because of, well, I mean, I guess you could, but the lockup was good enough, cheap enough, and they moved with that technology. They moved forward at that technology, and this has abandoned those dual dual ratio torque converter systems.
So Tim just got a Harbor Freight ad.
There you go. I got it apart. There's a lock ring.
Harbor Freight ad gets 2 points, right, Tim?
Harbor Freight gets 2 points. Yeah, Harbor Freight is a fantastic advertiser. They're always.
Kevin Smith says, "You know why Oldsmobile wagon is made for old folks? If I leave a turn signal on for more than a quarter mile, you get a warning bell. Ding, ding.
Ding, 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 ding.
Yeah, it's like you see a car going over a bridge or something with a turn signal on. It's like, where the hell are you going to turn? I was watching Jay Leno today on YouTube, and they're going along in a car, like just cruising along, a left turn signal going. Then they went to another view. You know, they edited it. Pretty soon the turn signal's off. I wondered how long they drove along with the turn signal. The old fart, you left your blinker on. Well, I remember when I was a kid, the old people, you'd see them driving the big old cars with big steering wheels. They'd be looking through the steering wheel because they're sitting there like this. That was always, yeah, all you see is the steering wheel and knuckles. You go, oh, that's an old person.
Mm-hmm. They're gonna make too much fun of old people.
Well, now I'm the old people. I'm the old people, but I don't drive just showing my knuckles. Although Dallas is, I kind of was sitting low. I felt like I was kind of sitting low riding in that thing because Dallas is a bigger guy than me. And, you know, he sits up higher, so the seat was just not quite right for me. I could reach everything, reach the pedals fine, but I would have liked that seat if it was an inch taller. But Dallas drove a lot of that trip, and then on the way back, he was getting tired, so I took over. And he's got a really nice trailer. It's all steel. It's kind of heavy compared to ours, but we got a wood thing that's kind of sketchy. But that's a really nice trailer. And the fender on the right side unlatches and comes off on the left side, so you can open the door. And then you put the fender back on after you get the car loaded and close the door. It's pretty cool. And then that Suburban's a pretty good sized truck. So going down the road, you kind of guide it along. If you start trying to make corrections, the whole thing starts, you know, going like that. But like if a truck goes by in a hurry and you feel the rig kind of go like this, you just hold the steering wheel, don't move it, and it just straightens right out. If you try to fight it, you get like in an airplane, you call it PIO, pilot induced oscillation. But you could really get it going if you. I learned just like hold still, and it just guide it along. It's nice. It's nice truck to drive.
I don't know.
So
the rest of the way apart.
Mama M3 says, "All right, I'm out. Everyone have a great week." Well, thank you. Thanks for being here,
Colleen. Happy Mother's Day. We'll be around on Tuesday for sure as well. I'm trying to get this.
Says Jay Leno is my spirit animal. Be like Mike? Nah, I want to be like Jay.
There you go. Hey, Leno's pretty butt.
Well, I've had a car collection. maybe almost as many cars as Jay, but I had what I called a dynamic collection. That's where you buy one and you sell it and buy it, sell it, and buy it, sell it. So you can't keep them all at once. But Jay was able to keep them all at once, which is pretty cool. Tissue box in the back window opener. What kind of gas mileage does the old Suburban get? It's like 16 miles a gallon.
Yeah.
16 or 17, something
phenomenal.
like that. And then with the trailer and the car behind it, it was probably like 11 or 12, something like that. But there's a lot of weight going down the road.
I think he says it's a big block, right?
Well, it's a 400 Buick, so he had a 455 in it, and he says the 400 actually worked out better. I'd love to own a steam car, preferably a white. Man, that's where Jay got hurt bad with that fuel leak in the steam car. Yeah. Oh, it says Brian. Where is he? Who came in? I missed somebody here. Oh, B&R Racing. Hello. Good evening. Stray Bullet. Sort of the entire premise of a collection. Yeah, it's like you get to keep it. You get to keep the whole collection. Well, when I years ago, when I really was doing this stuff, I had either 5 cars or 6 cars. So I had 6 cars. Always one of them was for sale. And then I'd be down to 5 cars, and I'd have a bunch of cash in my pocket. And then I'm looking, and I'd find something, and I'd grab it. And then I was back to 6 cars, and one of them they were all for sale. Whichever one went first, then I was looking again. I just always kept that up. And I had to thin it down to, when I moved back to Ohio, I had to thin it down to just a couple of cars. And eventually sold I had a Pinto, really nice Pinto, the little surfer van, and I'd left it in a friend's yard in California. And then he was selling his house. I asked him to sell the car for me, and so it went away. I wish I hadn't had to do that. I liked that car a lot. Dean been away working on my 70 Trans Am engine prepping work. Stray Bullet says that's why steam cars never really caught on. I had a friend that built a steam car. He built his own chassis, and it looked like a Ferrari kind of size car. And in the back, he had a 4-cylinder Honda motorcycle engine that he converted to steam. And then I built a radiator for it, and he had a closed loop steam system, so none of the water got away. So it went up there, so the radiator was a condenser, and then the water came back through the boiler, and the engine moved the car around. So I don't know what happened to that car. I got to call him sometime. I talk to him once in a while on the phone. He's still in California, but he's older than I am. He's like very retired. I think he's riding an electric bicycle around now. Kevin Smith, I collect dust. Dean Stevenson, GM PMD therapy. Oh, Pontiac Motor Division. Well, what are you doing with my scissors? Are you cutting wires with my scissors?
Yeah.
Okay.
Cutting some kind of plastic garbage.
Plastic's okay. Just don't cut wire with my scissors. Tim says Jay Leno was driving a McLaren, and it kept beeping at him. The guy who started McLaren told him he had to stay in his own lane or the car will beep. Huh? Doug said, hey, you looking for a car? Talk to Buff at the radiator shop. Yeah, oh, man. It got so people would come to me and they go, hey, I hear you buy cars. I'd be like, yeah, what do you got? I'd buy a car. It was pretty funny. That's exactly what would happen. And Racing, I had two 455 crankshafts turned down 125, 125 inch, 8-inch, all 6 counterweights. Lost mass need to make balancing possible with Crowder titanium rods.
Oh wow,
Oh man.
that's a big deal there. You're in the. I have a feeling that that's going to cost some money. Start talking about titanium rods. I know you're out of my. Hey,
You got all these parts. Do you know how this goes together?
Yeah, why?
Okay, I'm looking at it. It's like,
I'm not
oh,
going to leave it apart.
I never saw anything like that. And I'm like, oh no. Got all these little springs. That thing smells funny.
That's the.
Oh, you're putting she's putting this stuff on it. And she's brushing this nastiness out of there, and it gives off a funny smell.
Just getting it cleaned up. Everything moves free.
DNR.
You heard it was all gummy when we were starting it. Sometimes it would like not engage, just spin.
Oh, I thought that was you just not touching the wire.
No, the starter was funky and it's all just gummed up. But I think we can get this pretty cleaned up. I don't think I need to get a new starter because they're expensive.
DNR says set up new main and rod bearings in the block and rods torqued down, measured precision down to 1/10,000th of an inch. Have blueprint specs to give the crankshaft grinder now. Man,
that's amazing! Wow, B&R, that's fantastic.
Yeah, they'll be polishing it. They won't be polishing with shoelaces like you did.
No.
And then probably chamfer the oil holes and everything. Make it. I used to always do that. A guy, see my radiator shop. One of my radiator shop, a crank grinder next to me, and then next to him was a full-fledged machine shop. But the crank grinder had his own little shop, and he did crankshafts for me, and he'd always chamfer the oil holes and polish everything. Man, he did a nice job for me. But I don't know anybody that does this stuff anymore. It was so nice to have a crank grinder and a machine shop next door.
Yeah.
And they did balancing over there. They did everything. So, and we always did trade work. You know, they always needed radiators or air conditioning or something, and I never paid for anything. You know, it was good stuff. Dougster says, Brian, you knife edge the counterweights also. Well, Tim says the McLaren is self-driving now. Jay keeps drifting into the next lane. Oh, geez. BNR says lots of other measuring beam and cross-checking.
Yeah, I know. To do it right to the highest performance levels, all of a sudden it gets real. It's real. You can't just go, yeah, it's good enough.
Buddy Carpano says Dad always flipped car on front lawn with sell sign, with for sale sign. Yeah, I always had for sale signs and everything. I had my 64 Ford then. That was not for sale. Did not have a for sale sign that, but everything else had for sale signs in it. Dean, 4.5 pounds total. Oh, what's that word? Yeah, all 8 pistons, rods, and wrist pins. Wrist pins are heavy, thick wall 220. There was an organ grinder across the street from Buff's radiator shop. I remember well. Across the street from my shop was a guy that had a Porsche Audi dealership, and he had a used car a lot out there. And he called me more than once and threatened me because I had some nice looking car out there for sale, and he'd get really pissed off because he said it was attracting more attention than he didn't want it across the street from his lot. And sometimes I'd park in the parking space on the street. That's where he'd just go ballistic. So I'd put it up in my lot because he also sent me work. So it was a strange relationship. I didn't want to piss him off too badly, but he was hard to get money out of too. Let's see. He's kind of a shyster. friend of mine went to work for him and sold a, man, this is like in the late 70s, sold a Porsche 911 turbo, what do they call it? I think turbo Carrera, which at the time was a really expensive car. It was $44,000 in like 1978 or 79, whenever they came out with those. And then he wouldn't pay the guy his commission. He says, too much money. I'm not paying commission on that. And the guy really angry with him, quit and went somewhere else. But he didn't care. The guy kept the commission, you know. Nice guy. Not many Ed's machine shops left around anymore.
No, there are not.
BNR Dean, I skipped work. Used one vacation day Thursday to get this far done. It's impossible working and tired at night. Have to be like Kim and Buff. Heck with work. You know, I retired. I worked for, what, 55 years? So I don't care anymore. But every once in a while I get called and they want me to do something. I'll do it as long as I don't have to travel.
You know, not having the working income is a difficult transition, going from being having a paycheck to having
I had these nice big paychecks, but I didn't have any time. Now I got time, but no big paychecks.
But no money to work on stuff. I mean, not no money, but like not.
I got to be careful with the money. Yeah.
Really care, and we've spread ourselves pretty thin. We've got a lot of projects going.
Okay, we got ads coming up, so I'm gonna.
They all need a lot of money invested all at the same time. It can be really tough.
I'm gonna hush for a minute.
Oh, are you now? Is that me? Am I supposed to hush too?
I don't know, whatever you want. You want to talk through the commercials, go ahead.
Shut up, lady. Fine, maybe I will.
Let's see here. Dean just can't. This is BNR says Dean just can't measure accurate 10,000ths of an inch. Yeah, it's tough. That's where a reference drum micrometer is handy. That's what Dean says. So 2 crankshafts. BNR says, so 2 455 crankshafts set up for this engine. Dean, have 1 spare.
Wow.
Dean, in the laboratory, we love doing nothing out but arguing about the traceability of measurements to French and U.S. standards. Oh, Dean says, spelling else, but arguing about, I missed something here. He's correcting something and I missed, I don't even know what he's correcting. Tavo, I want to retire, but not eligible for pension for another 5 years. Not too sure I'll make that. Oh, geez. Yeah, I went a year early, so I took about $100 a month hit on Social Security, but the contract ended. So I was saying, oh man, I'm 65 years old. I got to go start looking for work. And I just said, the heck with it. I took the Social Security a year early, and it was like $100 a month hit, but yeah. And then I ended up going back to work and having to pay into Social Security again. I worked another 2 years straight, and then I've gone back a couple other times. So just didn't all happen at once. So it's kind of weird getting Social Security and paying into it at the same time. Okay, so Dougster got local power company ad.
Cool.
It's 2 points. Dean Stevenson, JIC plug and cap kit ad. That's good. Is that 2 points?
JIC.
JIC, that's isn't that well, what I think of JIC is that's a standard for some kind of tubing fittings or something, but I don't know what that is in New Zealand. BNR off to crankshaft grinder as soon as I can get Effingham crankshaft in Southern Illinois. Then Steve Morris for full short block machine work. Called Steve Morris and AOK. They will do mine. Yeah, you're getting the big time guys. Yeah, that's good. That's pretty cool. Dean Stevenson, I have 2 crankshafts as well. I'm welding up a block to suit 4 cut and shut variety heads. Engine has to fit in an early RAV4 4.1 first generation engine bay. Wow, man, you're going after, you got a project going.
I gotta do some polishing on the wheel.
Stray Bullet says, I keep getting ads for some fancy off-road vehicle that I can't afford.
Woohoo!
Tim says, Royal Kingdom video game with a mental health commercial right after that.
Hell yeah.
Oh, I got one of those Nuvia dentures ads they keep pushing. Stray Bullet says, I'm just a struggling walnut farmer. Kim's over there polishing something. I don't know if you can still hear me with the racket going. That's noisy over there. Tavo, yeah, I just can't keep working at this job full time, then be able to work on cars and how I want to. By the time I get out of work, I'll be too old to enjoy what's left. You know, the last job I had out in Oregon, I noticed, walking around pushing airplanes around and all that, I was just worn out. Walking back to the hangar, that kind of thing, I noticed I was slower. And it's like I just can't do that anymore. And I notice it here. I just can't move around like I used to. That's why Kim's doing all the work. She goes, "You're old, sit down." But then she gets mad sometimes because I don't work enough. I was wondering, Tavo, is that like a Social Security kind of thing you have there, what we call Social Security, which is run by the government, or is it a retirement plan through where you work, or I just don't know how the system works in Australia. Here it's both. You can have Social Security, which is not a very, it's been reliable, but it's not a lot of money. You pay into it your whole life anyway. You don't have a choice. Or some, like you retire from the military or some jobs, you get a pension. Besides that, so some people retire with a pretty good pension. Other people save for retirement, and they may do well, they may not, because they invest in the stock market or something. That may turn out good, it may not. What I did was I made sure my property was paid for. I made sure my house was paid for. Made sure my cars were paid off. And I got my Social Security. So I don't have any rent. My biggest bill every month is insurance. Homeowner's policy, car insurance, medical insurance, because Medicare doesn't pay for everything. Oh, and you have to pay for Medicare. That's not free. So I have to pay the Medicare insurance plus the supplemental policy. When I get my Social Security, just about half what I get goes into insurance, which to me just insurance.
Crazy.
Insurance. Okay, Tavo says, oh, wait a minute. Dean Stevenson, I don't talk too much about it. I'm an engine guy. I learned off Fords and Mopars. GM is part of my DNA too. Tavo says, yes, Social Security pension. We also have super annuation, but I can't touch that until 65, unless under certain circumstances. So that's something that's like a savings or something. Yeah, Social Security. Yeah, we pay. I don't know what the percentage is. We pay into Social Security and Medicare. Yeah, as long as you're working. And then when I got the Medicare, I found out there's a premium you got to pay. You pay into it your whole life, then you got to pay for it. So I pay for that, and I pay for my. It covers 80% is what they say, but it doesn't. And then I've got a policy that's supposed to pay the other 20%, but it doesn't. So it pays a lot of it. See, Dean Stevenson says, I figured that the biggest cost is good blocks that fit cheap cars. I like Toyota RAV4s, hate the Simca style 25-degree payback. for the 3S GE and V6 Toyota engines. Not sure what those are. Simca, man, I hear Simca. And the last Simca I saw was like early 1960s in the U.S. But Carfano, it's tough when you have the tools and knowledge, but not the physical ability to be in the garage anymore.
Yes, it is.
You know, that's the other thing I did. I said I paid for my property and my home, so I wouldn't have that when I retired. I paid for any like car loans, had those paid off, and then I bought tools my whole life. And my former wife would tell me, sell those tools, you'll have money. I go, no. I spent my whole life buying those tools so I could work in the garage and have some fun. That's what I want to do when I retire, is be able to work in the garage. So that's the other thing I did. I've got a lot of cool tools here. Tim says, I saved a lot for retirement. My ex is enjoying it really well. Yeah, that's what happens in the U.S. People that retire, military retirement, they have an ex-wife from 30 years back and she gets half of it. You know, that sucks. Or more than half of it. You know, I don't know how that whole formula works, but I know a lot of the former wives get more than half of it. That just, I knew a guy he was married for 11 years during the time he was in the military. He retired and she got more than half of it, and then he had to pay for medical insurance, and he was getting $103 a month for his military retirement. And I said something to him one day, and he goes, no, I get it all now. I said, how'd you work that out? Says, she died. I said, oh, okay. But he's my age, so she died young. But she was getting all but $103 a month of his military retirement. It just doesn't seem right, you know. Kevin Smith says fixed income. I call it bro income. Tawa says Chrysler built Simca down here until the mid 60s. Yeah, it's kind of how, that's the last Simca I saw. It was like, it was probably early 60s. Oh, Kevin says, oh, broke income. I call it broke income. Yeah, I get my Social Security. We get paid once a month. And that same day, it's like a vacuum cleaner. It hits my account. It's like, where'd it go? Well, everything's paid. At least I pay everything. And then Kim helps me some. She'll buy the food. She buys things.
I pay for a lot of the stuff to make the channel.
She pays for
cameras, computers.
She bought all the cameras and everything. The computer, I think, was done with Super Chats.
Yeah, they did help us out.
And we've spent some Super Chat money on. Super Chat money's all been spent on maybe hard drive or camera, you know, cables. And,
yeah,
I mean, it wasn't enough money to buy cameras, but we got a computer, things, you know. Straight bullet, your ex-wife will sell all your tools for nothing when you die. No, she won't. Kim's making a lot of money. A lot of money. No, she's making a lot of noise. I'm thinking about money, so I said she's making a lot of money. Nope, she's making a lot of noise. Inspector Bruce says, I'm in the same situation as you, Buff, but I don't buy old cars. Bruce, what are you driving now? You must have some. Well, and you were working for the airlines. You must have some kind of retirement from there, I would expect. Dean Stevenson, what people in the USA missed was that the Chrysler Horizon car underneath was originally developed Simca 1100. It was really advanced with its Ferrari Maserati Weber twin choke carb, no coils. And I knew like the what was that thing? The Horizon and the Dodge Omni. I knew that was a lot of European engineering on that car. but they built it here. I had one of those. I really liked it. I had a Dodge Omni, and it had it's the closest thing I ever came to a European car, but it was built here, and it had a Volkswagen engine, a Volkswagen 1700, but everything on the outside of the engine was Chrysler. So it was a block and head that was Volkswagen. Kevin Smith says, well, y'all, I'll be back if you're still on. Does that mean you're leaving? I think that's what that means. Okay.
Thanks for
thanks for being
coming.
here.
I don't know what time we're going till, just till we're done. So we might be here for a while. I don't know. It's up to him. I'm doing okay. I'm just
DNR
this
says,
is light duty work.
DNR says, our only hope left is manufacturing back in the USA. No choice now. Yeah, there's some companies that are going to do something here. So, and there are companies that do manufacture, but they're not huge.
Well, it's hard to compete with
they're
slave labor, so we'll see
like
how it goes.
one we're all familiar with is Edelbrock, the Edelbrock Group. You know,
Yeah.
they're not huge, but for us they're huge. For the hot rodders, they're huge. And
Yeah.
but I think there'll be more here.
And like here in Tennessee, they make tires, and
Oh,
they
yeah.
make air conditioning and heating and air conditioning systems.
Yeah, trains here. There's a factory here that builds all the train heating and air conditioning. And then Hankook is a Korean company, but they have two tire manufacturing plants. One's in Korea, one's in Clarksville, Tennessee. So they got a big building out there, and they're going like crazy making tires. So that's why I always look at Hankook tires. I support the local economy. And let's see here. Paulo says, yeah, percentage of your, I must have missed this. He says, repost. Yeah, percentage of your wage goes into a fund preserved until you're too old to enjoy it. If that pays out too much, not eligible for Social Security pension. Dean says the gearbox, McPherson struts, and engine arrangement was a U.S. exclusive, but the British design and Peugeot, Citroën, and Toyota copied it. See, I thought it was the front suspension and McPherson struts and that steering geometry that was European, but maybe not. I don't know. Tavo, ever seen a Simca? I don't know how to pronounce that. Arond, I don't know. Station wagon? No. But I had a friend had a 1958 one of those, four-door sedan, when I was 16 and he was 15 and he couldn't drive it, had it in his driveway, and had a 4-speed on the column that was one piece of linkage and one cable, and we got that working. And then when he turned 16, he drove it around a little bit, sold it. That's the only one of those I ever saw. But or up close, I worked on it. And it's the first car I ever helped put a stereo in it. We put 4 speakers in you remember a 4-track stereo? We put a 4-track in it. That was before the 8 tracks. Buddy Carfano friend had Shelby Omni GLH, fun car. Oh, I bet it was. Yeah, mine was it was a little 4-door. It was a nice car. I got it. It was like a year and a half old and had like 35,000 miles or something on it. It was a nice car. Really nice car. It looked like it had a leather interior, but I think it was some kind of really soft, cushy vinyl. It was pretty nice. Kim's going after the chemicals up there.
Contact cleaner.
Contact cleaner.
Just put a little.
Oh yeah, you found it.
Little spritz, right?
Dean Stevenson. So I found studying European Chrysler front drive Simcas and Matras have given me a lot more insight over the Toyota Dopey decisions. Oh, I don't know what a Matras. Simcas and Matra. What's a Matra? Is that Eastern European? What the heck is that? Inspector Groose, my computer's acting up. Have to reboot. All right, we'll be here.
We'll be here. Don't worry. Hope it fixes it.
Chrysler USA had a great asset in owning Simca. Oh, that smells like contact cleaner.
She does. You know why?
Because it's
This
contact
is
cleaner.
contact cleaner. You
I'm glad I bought that. Chrysler USA had it. Oh, I already read that. The Peugeot 309 and Citroen BX copied the Horizon's gearbox and US Horizon's McPherson struts, independent front suspension. Yeah, and both those companies quit selling anything in the US. Now, when I was a teenager, a friend of mine, his father had called the Pacific Motor Imports. It was Saab, the old Saab before GM had it. This is like in the late 60s. Had Saab, Citroen. What else did he sell? Saab, Citroen, Fiat, and Bricklin. And it was a little dealership.
That's weird.
Stray Bullet says it was probably Corinthian leather. No, this is before that. It was just a really nice interior. It was a beautiful car. For a small economy car, it was, whoever bought it had ordered all the good stuff. It was pretty nice. And I remember driving that thing. I took it from Central California, a 200-mile trip down to Los Angeles and back. I filled it up before I left. Didn't have to get gas till I got back. 400-mile trip, and I got 42 miles a gallon. I was really happy with that. And a 4-speed manual and a 1.7 engine. I couldn't have been happier with that. Buddy Carfano says, why do different makes of cars use different antifreeze? I don't know. Back when I had radiator shops, it was all the same stuff. Now it's, somebody in here was answering that one night.
Some of them have aluminum in them, and some of them have, they're all trying to come up with a formula that causes the least damage to the car over time, and different temperatures with different metals, and different head gaskets, different.
I have almost a full gallon of Japanese coolant here. And I had it for the Mazda because that's what it specified. But I only topped the Mazda off by like this much one time. And then I was like, oh, now I have this. So I was asking on here and somebody knew the answer. I thought I'll just use it in my car. So I think I used some of it in the
Usually it's because there's something about some cheap formulation. See, they're trying to make it work the best for the least cost. So they find there's something about the formulation that people are using is causing them problems. So then they specify their own stuff so that if you use something else, they can blame you if there's a problem. Because they know if they tell you have to use theirs, they know what the formulation. It's just like motor oil. There's like an additive package, and they want to know what the formulation is. If you use the generic Walmart brand off the shelf, they don't know what you're buying. But for the most part, the generic stuff off the shelf is going to cover you within the warranty period. It's only when the cars get older that it even matters. But if you've never seen a head gasket corrode through you've seen where a head gasket corrodes through the fire ring. It's like, well, that was bad antifreeze. But that's just
or
that's
they didn't change. They never changed
that's
it.
That's neglect. Or they just run water instead of antifreeze.
Oh, and that'll destroy an engine. See, Dean Stevenson says Lee gave the Chrysler Simca company to Peugeot for $1. Peugeot and Simca and Matra profited by that call. Look at the Matra developed by Renault, which around here they call it Renault, but it's, and my friends from South Africa call it Renault E-Space. Stray Bullet gas is $4.89 per gallon here. Yeah, here I bought gas yesterday, maybe the day before, and it was $2.50. I think one place I bought it was $2.59. We were on the road, so we weren't searching the best price. We were just come off the highway and get what you get. But I think it was $2.59. A lot of antifreeze brands are made here in Illinois. Oh, really? The thing I did in the radiator shops back then, antifreeze was like dark blue or bright green, or there are all these different colors. And I learned I used to always buy a brand that had bright green, and that was the requirement because at the time they were all ethylene glycol. So I didn't care about brand, and I just cared about it was bright green. Because you open up the radiator after you work on it, look in there, and it's bright green. It looks like it's clean. If you use the dark blue stuff, you look in there, it just looks black. It looks like you never did anything. And then customers will say, like, you didn't flush that out. And you're standing there trying to defend yourself. So I just quit doing that. But there's nothing wrong with the dark blue stuff. It just doesn't look clean. So therefore, I like the bright yellowish green color stuff, which at the time was I can't think of the name of the brand. It's still a common brand. Uh, I've been using diesel antifreeze in mine. Xerox Final Charge works in gasoline engines just fine. Yeah, I bet it does. Stray bullet. If you need to change your antifreeze while the vehicle is under warranty, you've got big problems. Well, it depends on how long the warranty is. I mean, if the I used to tell people change your antifreeze once a year, but that's probably kind of often. What I do is stick the the voltmeter thing, and if you start showing voltage in there, get rid of the stuff, because it's acid. Acid's bad. You got aluminum and iron and acid together. You know what you got. You start transferring material around. My 76 or my '06 Silverado still has the original antifreeze. Oh my God! Check the voltage on that. Oh, not Preston. Oh yeah, Prestone. Yeah, there's an E on the end of that. That's exactly right. Prestone. I always got Prestone antifreeze because it was bright yellowish green. Never a question. Customer would come along and open up the cap. It looked great in there. It was obvious that I cleaned it out and changed it. Dark blue didn't look dark blue. It looked black. Then they'd say, you didn't change it. Yeah, I did. And I'd have to come over there with a bulb and pull some out and show them it was blue. And they're like, I don't know. I never wanted to hear that. Somebody doubts your work. Stray Bullet says, I'm not worried about the voltage. You should be worried about the voltage because if you have, I'm sure there's iron and aluminum in there. You got dissimilar metals and acid. It's a battery. You start moving stuff around, start moving material around. B&R Prestone has 10 to 15-year guarantee now. Like Xerox Final Charges work great, no corrosion. Any using last 6 years. Kevin Smith says Prestone is my favorite. Yeah, I still say check the voltage on it. As soon as you start seeing voltage, it's enough acid that it's dissimilar metals and acid. You know what that is. Kim.
Yeah.
Can you take over the chat for a minute?
Yeah, sure.
Stray Bullet says, I think my intake manifold is leaking though. Ooh.
Intake manifold?
That's on his 2006 Silverado. Still has the original antifreeze. Okay, I gotta take a walk for a minute. Oh, you polished that all up. She's fixing this starter motor. It's looking really good. I
want it to work. I don't want to have to.
Okay, I'll be back.
Oh yeah, look how nice this is.
Oh, didn't want to do that before. Okay, I'm walking. I gotta step over towards this stuff. I don't want to put it.
That's gonna last forever. Oh, yeah. I'm sorry. There's cords everywhere. It's hard work, doing all this YouTube stuff. Prestone is my favorite. Intake manifold leak. The intake manifold gasket didn't used to be that big of a project.
Oh, you got electrolysis going out here right now.
Yeah, I've got an electrolysis thing going out there. Dougster says the 2011 Avalanche and the 07 Camry are getting coolant and brake fluid changes, tire rotation. Dougster's on the job. That's a lot of things to get done, Dougster. Good deal. Good deal. Important stuff that you really need to, you know, take care of. Intake leaks are common on the 3.1 GM. Ugh. Yeah, but at what point? Like early in the life, or is it like it's just the thing that starts to go with time? I don't know. I don't know all the particulars of certain I only know certain vehicles. Buff says that like it's a bad thing. What's the bad? I miss fixing everything under the sun like Kim does. I hate work, day job, need the money. Well, I mean, I had to give up my house and give up a lot of things in life because I couldn't work a day job anymore. So this is my consolation prize. I get to work on some stuff. Some days it feels like a really amazing, like, I mean, I get to be a YouTube star and I get to work on all these cars and do a little bit of racing. Not really racing, but we're building a custom car. Like I've always wanted to do that. But, you know, my sense of financial security is nothing like it was when I was able to work. Like I work so slow. It's hard to get nearly as much done as feels like needs done. That's okay. I don't know. You just got to enjoy where you're at as best you can. Work when you can. But I'm sorry you have to work the day job. But I wish I were able to. That'd be nice. But it's just a different
Ooh, it's cooling off out there.
stage of life. When I was younger, I did that a lot. It was cool.
Yeah,
it is chilling out.
Well, you know what I noticed when I got out there? You've got a light on that big bucket you have out there.
Yeah, I got a bin out there.
Have you looked at it?
Yeah, it's just out there.
Foaming, whatever you got going,
Yeah.
It looks like it's working. She's trying to pull rust off with an electrical thing that's making the electricity flow away from the rust, I assume.
Yeah, that's the
And
point.
there's a big old foamy thing, so maybe it's
I
working.
got one of the A arms out there in a bucket to try and get it to go. Because they were really gucky.
I couldn't see what was in there because all
and
the
they're
foam.
really hard. It's the thing about it is, right, is I can't even use a wire brush on it because it's just so awkward, all the different little angles and stuff. So I figured, well, let's try some electrolysis. I got some laundry detergent in there and some vinegar in there. And
I didn't know what you had. I knew you vinegar. See here, I missed some stuff here. Dougster says the 11 Avalanche and the 07 Camry are getting coolant and brake fluid changes. Okay.
That's good.
Dougster says tire rotation 2.
Yeah, he's on top of it. I already read that, but that's
okay. But yeah, I haven't. Stray Bullet says Buff says that like it's a bad thing. What's a bad thing? Something I said.
I can't remember.
Oh, he says he's not worried about the voltage. Yeah, it's just one of those tests that I always did because I've seen a lot of cars get really screwed up.
Oh.
Aluminum corrosion. The aluminum disappears from places where you don't want it to disappear. That was the biggest problem I had with the Mazda rotaries. That's why the seals would blow. The seals, meaning not the apex seals, not those. Those usually sealed okay. It's the O-rings between the rotor housings and the end plates, and the rotor housings are aluminum, the end plates are cast iron. So what happened is you got coolant in there, and the coolant would turn to crap and just deteriorate the rotor housings, and then water would leak into the combustion chamber. And that's what ruined them is a bad coolant. Let's see. Intake leak common on a 3.1 GM. I miss fixing everything under the sun like Kim does. 8 workday job, needs money, yeah. Mr. Bullet, I have a 91 F250, the original spare tire that's never been on the ground. Sure, it's fine. Hey, Kim, how hard is it to do I'm going to put you on the spot here. I shouldn't do that. You've done this before, and for some reason you didn't want to do it anymore, and it was some kind of struggle with something. have guests on where they can sit in front of the camera in their house and be on our lives,
What?
like in the studio.
Yeah.
You
Okay.
had to pay for something, didn't you?
StreamYard, yeah, is
Uh,
a paid service. Why is that? We could do it. We could do it
well,
through.
because there's somebody I want to come on here. You know, my friend Vern out there in California, he's a 50s and 60s, maybe 40s, 50s, 60s car kind of guy.
Yeah.
And he's got a lot of good stories. And he's just
Well,
a
we could
cool
just do
guy.
like a video call with him, and I can use whatchamacallit to put it up there. If it's somebody who we know that we
So
know that person is going to do it, if we
I,
set it up ahead of time, we can do a real nice job with
I
it.
don't even know if he has a camera, but I'm going to talk to him. And before I talk
Well,
to him, I
he
want
has
to
his
talk to you.
phone, right?
Yeah, he's got a phone he could
You
use,
could
I
just do a
suppose.
video call, and then we could put the video call on. Hmm, let
Doug's,
me work on it. I could
okay.
figure
It's
something
just,
out.
he's just such an interesting guy, you know. And he's had all these Kaisers and Kaiser Darren and old Buicks and Cadillacs and Studebakers. His Studebaker's the one that ran over me. Uh, yeah. Anyway, uh, let's see. Dougster says I have to address the brakes on Lady Dougster's Super Beetle, as I know right now it needs a master cylinder and wheel cylinders. Yeah, it sounds like the whole hydraulic system needs some work. BNR, I turned my
That's
living room.
okay though. Get it done, Dougster. That's not too tough.
BNR, I turned my living room into a full engine builder room. Wife's still gone with my wife's still gone with my boys 19 months later. Oh, geez. BNR doing something for me in 2025. Dougster, in Michigan, you get to see spare tires mounted on flaky, rusty wheels that are sketchy as.
Oh, underneath trucks, especially, man, do they get really rough.
Our engine
Hanging
cherry
underneath
picker
them.
in the living room too. It's a fold up type. Yeah, if you have the engine cherry picker in the living room, it's important to have the fold up type, right? You get it through the door that way. Oh man, I knew a guy that built an airplane in his basement, and then it was a one piece wing on top. So he pulled the wing off and set it next to the airplane, and then he had a company come out with a backhoe, and they built a thing. He called it the berthing, and it came up like this. It was like a driveway and concrete walls on either side, and made a thing so he could drive in and out of the basement. And he pushed the airplane up out of the basement. He called it the berthing, and he had all these pictures of it. And he flew that airplane around for quite a while, but he had a way to drive in and out of his basement after that.
That's sort of nuts, but also cool as heck.
Yep. Stray bullet. I had problems for years with aluminum radiators. They would always corrode. I started using only distilled water mixed with antifreeze, and the problem went away. Changing it off. Check voltage. Voltage. Well, I know I preach that voltage, but
Yeah,
and most people don't pay any attention to that. But that's why you have corrosion with aluminum, and you got cast iron there, and aluminum, dissimilar metals, and acid. You know what that does?
instant.
Instant battery. Um, Doug's right. Don't have a Harley. I want one though.
Dougster?
No,
Dougster has
BNR is saying Dougster. I don't have a Harley. I want one though.
Dougster's got a bike. What was Dougster's bike?
He's got a big Honda, like what, a big 6-cylinder Honda Goldwing or something. I don't know. I don't remember what it is.
Goldwing. No.
No, I don't remember. It looks like a Goldwing, but it's a 6-cylinder Honda. I think. I don't know. What do they call that thing? I'm not much of a motorcycle guy.
I watched the video where they took it to the Dutch place.
Can be used for engine oils. You can't use tap water. Get one, Brian. Stray bullet. The underneath of my truck still looks almost like new, Dougster. Yeah, that's how it is in Arizona. You get under a car that's 40 years old, and you get under there, and the bottom it's still painted. got the paint color of the car, and you do that in like Pittsburgh
Jeez.
or where I was in Ohio. The car's like 5 years old, and you get under it, and there's rust holes.
There doesn't
There's
even
no
have an
paint.
underside. Yeah.
It doesn't even have an underside.
There's no metal left. Paint. Shoot.
Rust never sleeps in Michigan. Yep. BNR says that's awesome, Buff. I'm not sure what's awesome. Using the clean underneath. Valkyrie, that's what it is. Valkyrie motorcycle. Basically, it's a naked gold wing. Gold wing. Valkyrie. Straight bullet. My Silverado is a gas electric hybrid then, I guess. Oh, because you got a battery going in the cooling system. Except you're wasting the electricity.
You gotta use it if it's a hybrid.
My neighbor builds quarter scale locomotives in his basement. He has tracks that come out of his basement window. Ride on locomotives. Oh, I've seen things like that. Yeah, I've seen people, those
What a cool
locomotives,
hobby.
they have trains and they sit on top of them and ride them around. I've seen that.
I remember there was a guy who had like a.
Oh, building an aircraft in your basement. Yeah, that guy's name was Don, and he was in New York. But since then, he sold his place in New York. He was out on Long Island, and he did that. And then he moved to New Jersey, and he built another airplane. Man, I just had an email from him. I told him I'd give him a call. I got to call him, see how he's doing, talk to him. But he quit flying. He's man, I bet you he's 5 years older than me. He was a guy that was he was a hell of a mechanic, builder, craftsman, and his job was he was a glass blower, and he made like scientific glass. You know, the stuff they use, all like test tubes. I don't know what he did, but that was his daytime job, was he would blow glass.
He's got a daytime job. He's doing all right.
Dougster says, I need a new front tire for the Valkyrie. No ride till new tire. Coming soon, though. Yeah.
Yes, Dougster, be safe.
They machine the parts there for their locomotives. They machine the parts for their locomotives. Be careful of those locomotives. You getting that back together? Oh,
This
yeah,
stupid
you got
retainers are painting them.
She's got that thing like using a puller. It's like putting valves in with the guides, you know. You can't see. Well, I guess you can sort of see her working. There's a lot of pressure on that, and she's poking at it. I should stand back. I should sit back further in case something comes flying apart. This is tool you're using. Using one of my jeweler's screwdrivers to put 1,000 pounds of pressure on the spring.
I don't know why it won't work.
What's this here? Beautiful stuff. The dad passed last week. Is that what you're saying? Dad, oh, the dad passed last week. Oh, that's not good. Dougster says the tire is $275. My front tire is the size of other motorcycles' rear tire. Bruce, blowing glass is a good way to get a pain, P-A-N-E, in your stomach. So, Inspector Bruce, I guess you got your computer up and running. I haven't heard from you since your computer had reboot issues.
You made it back.
That's pretty good. And I was asking you earlier, maybe I missed it, Bruce. What are you driving now? What cars do you have? Because I know you like those sports car kind of things, small 2-seat cars. So I didn't know when he and I knew each other. He didn't have a car. We were in school in the military, and I bought old Ford, which at the time was an 11-year-old car. It was a '62 Ford Galaxy, and we drove that thing all over the place. But I didn't really know what kind of cars Bruce liked, and now he's told us he likes, like Fiat X19s and maybe Fiat 124 sports cars, and I don't know what he said he had, but kind of wondering what it all is. Blue Grit says, locomotive breath, Jethro, and I don't mean John's dog. In the shuffling madness. Okay, Inspector Bruce says, 2021 Toyota Highlander. Well, that's not a sports car. Or is it? Maybe that is a sports car. I guess it depends on what sport it is.
Highlander, though, you can go off-road, right?
I can't believe it, Bruce. You and I, we were in central Illinois, or sort of central. I don't know, what were you, like 120 miles south of Chicago, something like that. We got in that old 62 Ford that was pretty much worn out car and drove to Fond du Lac, Wisconsin to see my cousins who hung out up there for a weekend. And he had a motorcycle and his friends all had motorcycles. We rode all over the place. Bruce and I did on these motorcycles, these guys drinking, it's like, it's like a bunch of 18-year-olds. And then drove that old Ford back to Rantoul, Illinois. We were having a good time, I guess. Straight bullet. You really fell off, Bruce. Highlander, 4-door SUV. Yeah, sport utility vehicle. So I guess it's a sport car. Sports. It has sport in it. Mike N's here. How you doing?
Hey, Mike.
I have a 23 Highlander. Inspector Bruce says I had to give up on the sports cars for now. Yeah, I'm trying to get into that a little bit, but having these tiny cars around with these big vehicles all over the road, people not paying attention to where they're going, could be fatal. Bruce says I have to send you the pictures of that weekend. You have pictures of that weekend that we went to Fond du Lac? Really?
That's cool. Yeah.
That was in 1973. You have pictures of that.
You better send them pictures.
I gotta see that, man. And my cousin, you remember there was Jan, who was Jan and Greg. And Greg was like my age, and Jan was like a year younger than me. And I've gotten back of course, both their parents, they both died years ago. So I've gotten in contact with Jan again. I haven't talked to Greg, but Jan and Greg are old people now too. So yeah, I gotta see those pictures, and geez, I might, if it's okay, I might even send them to Jan. She'd probably love to see that.
She did pick up.
And you know what? What happened when they died? The kids got left the house, and she bought the house out from her brother. So she still has that house, and she's gone through and refurbished it, fixed it up, and did a patio in the back. And she sent me pictures of that house, and it really doesn't look the same. She did a nice job on it. Oh, I sent you those pictures originally in 1973. Really? Okay, so well, I remember taking pictures. I had one of those little thin cameras. What was that thing called? Oh, a 110. It's a 110. It had those little cassette, tiny little films. So the resolution wasn't real good. Wow. Yeah, I'm sure I don't have them anymore. All my old pictures that were prints, over the years they deteriorate and they get stuck together from moisture in the air and everything. I wish I would have scanned them like many years ago, but I didn't. Wow, that's pretty cool. Yeah, that was a good weekend. We had a good weekend. In fact, I got to call Greg. I've got his phone number somewhere. I got to call him and just talk to him sometime. Because he and his friends kind of gave us a good time that weekend riding all over on the motorcycles. And it's amazing you ended up coming in here. I'm really thankful that you showed up and came in here and hang out with us. Pretty good stuff. No, it was not a disc camera. It was called a 110, and it's like a cassette. It's like a little tiny, I think it was 110 millimeter. I think.
Yeah.
And they pop in this little thin camera. They're really cool then because you could stick it in your pocket. It was the first camera you could really stick in your pocket. And
yeah, but that's small.
So the resolution wasn't very good.
No.
But at the time, it seemed okay. And you remember, what's the Air Force base there, Rantoul? Here goes my brain. I can't think again. Chinook Air Force Base. They had airplanes parked all around on lawns there that were display birds, and I took pictures of all those display birds. And yeah,
If you could find that film,
so maybe I'm sure Bruce and I walked around looking at all those airplanes, because what do you do when you're on a base in school? You do stuff on the weekend, walk around and look at the airplanes, or walk downtown, get something to eat in town so you're not eating military food one day. Where's Marcia?
no,
Where's
just
Marcia?
Jan.
Jan. Oh yeah, Jan. Her name's actually Janine, and we always called her Jan when we were young. But now I know she prefers to be called Janine, so I should say Janine. So, wow. Bruce says, I plan to visit you in the fall. Just don't make it the weekend of No Name Nationals. What weekend is that?
Well, if you make it the weekend No Name Nationals, you got to come to No Name Nationals.
Yeah, you got to come to No Name Nationals.
We'll make you drive something.
Oh yeah, if you come here, you'll drive one of the cars to No Name Nationals. Oh, you guys marched under the B-36 every day. Isn't that B-36? Wasn't it moved? I think they took that thing apart and moved it to Castle Air Force Base out in California. I think. Buddy Carfano, Mom worked in a little Kodak hut and grocery store parking lot. Oh yeah, you remember those things? Oh, September 13th is when you're coming out. That's a week before No Name Nationals, I think. Man, Bruce will be here.
That's cool.
Who else coming, Bruce? You driving or what you doing?
That's cool.
I gotta see what. See, now you can tell I'm old. I do this to focus. Yeah, that is the week. That's the weekend before No Name Nationals. So No Name Nationals, we'll be out of here on Wednesday. Yep, the photo booth. When I went to Russia, man, it was in 1997. There were digital cameras around, but not very many, and certainly not in Russia. So when I got to Russia, we were all becoming friends, and a lot of American companies moving into Russia. Like, you walk through the city in Russia, and big Kodak signs everywhere. Kodak, Chas photo, which means 1 hour photo. Chas photo, you see it everywhere. Spelled Russian F-O-T-O. Chas means one. Chas photo. And, or 1 hour, it means what it means is Chas photo. So those things were everywhere. But man, that was a good investment at one time. And then digital took over, and then it was a terrible investment. You're flying into Nashville, then rent a car. Who else coming? You, wife, kids? I don't know. We got to do something. Kim, we got to do something that weekend.
Why is he coming here?
Huh?
Why is he coming?
Are you coming to see us, or are you coming for other reasons? If you're coming to us,
we're have time to actually come visit, or is he super busy?
Are you busy in Nashville doing something? Are you actually coming to see us, or what's going on? Because we got to meet up somehow. We'll do something. God, that'll be fun. Little yellow photo booth everywhere. Yep, those things are everywhere. Is Kodak even still in business?
They went to digital cameras, didn't
they? Don't they make digital cameras?
Yeah. I'm sure their business model has changed considerably.
Just to talk over old times. That's why you're coming here? That's cool, man. I went back up to Rantoul one time quite a few years ago after the base was closed. And that place it's not good. It's well, Dallas Brown that helped, the HRA guy that.
I gotta make noise for a minute.
Well, I want to finish my story.
Okay.
That we went to, just the guy I just went to Arkansas with. He's in his late 40s now. They he grew up, where Paxton was. He grew up right outside Paxton. That's just north of Rantoul. And so he told me when he graduated from high school is right when the base closed down. And he goes, all of a sudden there are like 18,000 people in town and with no work. So he had a real hard time finding work. Let's see. My wife may come and stay in Nashville. Sparks.
Sorry, I had to make.
I put my hood up. The shower of sparks.
Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't know.
Well, so Bruce says my wife may come and stay in Nashville.
Okay.
Well, yeah, we can. I mean, Nashville's got a lot of good stuff and restaurants and things, and so they do here too. Wow, this would be cool. I worked at Buddy says I worked at Blockbuster renting VHS tapes and other forgotten business. Man, when I lived in Sharon, Pennsylvania, about a block and a half from where I lived, there was a corner and there was a place called Purple Cow Video. And my son and I used to walk down there, and we always went to Purple Cow Video, and we rented videotapes, VHS tapes. We came up and we watched movies and then go back and turn them in at Purple Cow Video. And I was looking around on Google Street View, at the old apartment where I lived. And I go down the street and I look there, and I don't know, it's not Purple Cow Video anymore. It's some office. Stray Bullet says there might still be a Blockbuster open in Oregon somewhere. Oh, I doubt it. Man, that's just, there's those businesses that really do well, and then something comes along that just ruins it. It's like, and digital cameras came around, it ruined the film developing.
Video killed the radio star.
The guy that I was talking about earlier, it's out in California, a guy that's a little older than me, that had built the steam car. He had a business called Calphoto in San Luis Obispo, and he sold cameras and camera equipment and everything. But half his business was photo finishing, developing photos, and it just evaporated. And he ended up going bankrupt. I don't know if he went bankrupt, but he closed the business, couldn't make any more money. It's just, he's selling digital cameras, but he couldn't make a living doing that. His half his business was service business with the photo finishing. You got that almost back together.
Trying. It doesn't want to go on.
It doesn't want to go together.
No, it's really fighting.
Kim says the starter motor's fighting her.
Grief in me.
Grief.
Giving me grief.
Hey Bruce, I'm sure you've seen this. See that? 20,000 safety wire. But I didn't know what this was. I had to measure it tonight. I forgot I bought it. 024 safety wire, which I found some good use for, but I got a whole roll of it here. I don't use it very often. But 024, had you ever seen that? Because there's 020, 032, 041, always. But 024 is kind of weird. But I got a roll of it. Oh, but you're an electronics guy. You're not a safety wire nuts and bolts guy. Everybody has a camera in pocket thanks to cell phone. Yeah. And that's another thing amazing is how good the resolution is on a camera, a phone camera. Yeah, the whole smartphone thing is amazing to me. My son told me, he goes, the only reason you go to college is to get the degree that says you went to college. He goes, for the information, he goes, it's the first time in our history that we have every piece of information we ever needed in a device in our pocket. He goes, the only reason to go to school isn't to learn anything, it's to get the diploma. No, because I can look up everything in the phone. Yes, I used it also. Okay. Yeah, I don't remember why I got it. I liked it for something. Something I was doing it. And we could make a movie, buddy. Yeah, and have a video camera. My phone, I can have a video camera and just send somebody a video instantly. When I do my shorts, I load those videos right off the phone. I just take the video and load it up. And the only thing is, I go in on my laptop and I edit the whatever I write in there. I can look at it, edit it before I push the button to make it to load it up. My mom drove a Mercury Capri. My mom drove Mercury Capris for Firestone testing tires cross country, a different tire on each corner. Really? That seems really weird. You'd think that wouldn't be considered as safe.
That's cool.
What are you using for pre-lube on that?
What?
Oh, I see you wiping. It looked like you're wiping pre-lube around. Maybe you're just wiping it off.
That's good.
Apparently not the Firestone 500s. Yeah, because she would have had a blowout on one corner every time. Tire. Oh, Inspector Bruce says, I have 3 set of safety wire pliers sitting in a drawer. Man, I have one pair that's probably Korean War era that I bought at Oshkosh at the air show. This guy had a 55-gallon drum full of old safety wire pliers, and I found one that was still pretty good, and he wanted $2 a piece for them. So I still have that pair, but they're getting kind of worn, but I still use them. And then I have some little short ones that are like anodized red, and I might have another one around. Inspector Bruce says Mopar and Blue Point. Oh, that's the safety wire pliers. Kevin Smith says Dad was a truck driver for Roadway, and they both drove us nuts. Dean Stevenson says Bill King 4-wheel drive parts. Is that a Bill King 4-wheel drive parts? Is that an ad? Or is that what Mopar and Blue Point? I don't know if that's the safety wire pliers or if that's an ad. Kevin Smith says, dang babysitter. Kim's struggling with that, trying to get that stack of stuff back together.
Yes.
Kevin Smith says, parents weren't too much. And my father had a job.
Ah, shit.
What happened back there? You tripped over something.
Tangled in the equipment.
Auckland Parts Supplies, says Dean Stevenson. That must be an ad. Is that at 2 points?
Yes, always 2 points.
Kim, you're starting to trip and fall over all the stuff.
My legs are getting all funny.
Yeah, when I took my break a few minutes ago, my legs were getting all wibbly wobbly. I think I'm going low, sugar low a little bit. And all I have is diet drinks up here. Kim, do we have any cookies up here?
No.
Okay, I'll make it home. I was starting to say something and I lost my train of thought.
I'm sorry.
Train of thought. Oh, I was saying my father had a job where he was a professor at a university, and he taught printing management and technology back in the old printing press days. So he was like a mechanic that fixed a line of type machines, all the old-fashioned stuff. But he was home every night. He left early, put in a long day, and he'd come home. And he, after dinner, he'd go down to his little room and he'd grade papers and write new material, and that was his routine. But he's always there. He's always there for us. And my mother worked a part-time job, but basically she was always there for us. Not too often did they go out and leave us with a babysitter. And then we got older, of course, they went out a little more maybe, but still, we took care of ourselves. But if they went out, we had jobs. We were expected to wash the dishes, pots and pans, put stuff away. And after we eat dinner, we used to rotate 3 kids. We'd rotate different jobs, wash pots and pans, wash dishes, all. And we just did that stuff every night, So if they went out, we had things we were supposed to be doing. Kevin Smith says it sucked when Mom would send us to our room till Dad got home 3 days later. What? Oh, that doesn't sound good. My dad would be gone for a business trip. I don't know, once maybe every couple of years. They'd take a field trip somewhere with a class and they'd be gone for a couple of days. But I bet it wasn't more than 4 or 5 or 6 times in the whole time I was a kid. I remember one time I was little and we had a 56 Ford wagon. See, I always remember the cars. And my mother drove us somewhere with my father and he picked up a state car to go to take on a field trip. And I remember it was a 57 Plymouth. It was a light gray 57 Plymouth. It had the little state emblems on the side. And he brought it home and then he left early the next morning. But I must have been pretty young if the state car was a 57 Plymouth. I liked it. It had those big fins on the back. Dad, you got a car with big fins on the back. He said, oh, that looks so stupid. He didn't like that stuff. Kevin Smith still I'll sit and wonder if you'd get a whooping. Oh, that doesn't sound good. But Carfana used to work 12-hour shift joke. 12-hour shift joke was you only worked half a day. Okay, yeah, 12 of half 24 hours. Yeah. Only worked a half a day. Stray Bullet says, out getting a pack of smokes, Kevin. Kevin says, she usually forgot about what we did by the next day. Oh, I see. I see what would happen. That's why you get sent to your room. You could wait for your dad to come home and smack you around. I knew families like that where the father would come home and belt the kids, but we didn't do that. My dad was quiet. My mother's, her discipline was yelling at us, and she'd be on the phone and hey, like this, because we start cutting up when she's on the phone. And she had Reader's Digest sitting there, and the phone was, you couldn't walk around with the phone, you're kind of trapped at a desk. She'd take one of those Reader Digest, throw it across the room, and it'd open up, flap all around, go by us, and it's like, and we knew she was pissed when that happened. And we'd straighten out. But my father was real quiet. And if we did something when he wasn't there, he'd put up with it. And she'd start yelling at us, and we didn't pay attention to her. He'd stand up, pull his belt off, and fold it in half. And man, we straighten up right now. And he usually just put his belt back on. But there were a few times it's just like snap across your backside, on your butt, with our pants on, just whack. And it might sting a little, but nobody likes that. But we never did that. Wait till your father gets home. I knew families like that. Wait till your father gets home. We never had that threat. Sounds like a TV show. Wait till your father gets home. Dean Stevenson said, my adoptive dad used to get a 65 Ford Zephyr 6. Oh, no, a Zephyr 6. Oh, you got it together? You got it together. Wow. I'm going to look at it a second here when I'm finished with Dean Stevenson's thing here. 65 Ford Zephyr 6, a 71 XY Falcon station wagon. I think that's a pretty cool car. I kind of know what that is. XB Falcon sedan or a pickup, a ute. Our family were loghead Ford inline 6 powered on company holidays. Kim, I'm going to start coughing. I need my cough drops. I think I have a cough drop in my pocket. Oh, I waited too long. Now I'm going to start sneezing and coughing. I should have done this 5 minutes ago.
Bruce, you're too kind.
Oh, I didn't see that. Okay, I gotta walk over to the
check out this starter. Look it looks like new. It's fully refurbished.
Gotta light up the Studebaker.
It's all.
Things getting away from me.
It's gonna work so good.
Okay, we're lighting up the Studebaker for a good long time for that. That's a
Really
good
That's
super
right.
chat. That is a great super chat.
That's so nice.
But you're standing away the Studebaker, and I'm standing away the Studebaker. There we go. There's Kim gonna. I thought she was gonna dance, but she walked over this. Oh, she's got to unplug something. Yeah, I know, Kevin. I don't want to say any of that. We kind of keep the politics to a minimum here.
Triumph.
Yeah, I know Triumph, but I know. But I know what he's doing.
We got the money.
Let's see Kim dance instead of falling over the Triumph frame. Well, it's worse than a Triumph frame. She's got cords and hoses and tools and.
Where's your dancing? No dancing?
Where's my dad? I don't know. Do I dance?
No, you never dance.
What is that song?
Take me dancing.
You know I can't dance. You know I can't dance.
You never take
what was that?
His
name? Leo Sayer. You know I can't dance. You know I can't dance. I can't dance.
He takes me to the racetrack.
I bet you Dean Stevenson knows that song.
He takes me to the racetrack. That's kind of fun.
Stray enough to make a Valiant nervous. So, Dean, you know that song by Leo Sayer?
Does it work? Of course I don't know if it works.
Oh, yeah, you got to put some power to it.
All right. That sounds like a challenge.
While you're doing that, I'm going to reach over here and turn this off before we kill the battery. But that was a great super chat. So
thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Bruce.
Generous. Well timed. Because we're going to have success with this stuff.
There's stuff on the floor here, too. I got to be careful.
I know he asked to challenge me because he knows it will work, not because he was dancing night away. Dance night away. It's disco.
Oh, you're bringing my table over.
I'm going to use the table.
This is serious.
This is serious. Oh. We'll see if it does what it's supposed to do. We should be dancing, yeah. I know this isn't the most exciting stuff happening here, guys, but it's just all part of it.
That's just what we do. We sit here and talk to people and that like cars, and maybe they don't like cars, and we do some little jobs, whatever comes up.
I mean,
okay,
this definitely needed some love, you know?
Okay.
This wasn't going to work.
Oh, you got to bring a battery over here, yeah.
I got to bring a battery.
Okay, I thought it was when you put that there, it didn't spin, so I thought, what's wrong? Oh, and then I look at the other end. There's no battery. So I'm going to have to. You know how it is. For every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction. So I'm going to grab this starter so it doesn't come flying off the table at me.
Oh, God, this is like fly off of there.
I don't want it to hit me.
I mean, it did work before, but now it's
But it's gonna
it's more.
one side
clean
turns
than it
one way, the
was.
whole starter motor is gonna turn the other way.
Can you back it up a little bit?
Why are you putting the battery up there?
So I don't have to crawl around on the floor.
Oh, so you don't have to crawl around on the floor.
So they can see. Okay, you ready? Ready?
No. Wait. I'm gonna put the other.
Are you ready?
Okay, I'm ready. Oh, look at that. Man, it hits every time. It's really good. Did you lube that with something?
Yeah.
What'd you lube it with?
Bearing grease. Just a little.
Yeah, I mean, it just works so well.
Well, there was like a little bit of rust and stuff in there.
Yeah.
So now it's all got. We're not trying to go for exactly as good as new. We're trying to go for refreshed. We're not going to start this car a million times. We're just not going to drive to work every day. We're not going to take it on a million errands.
It's going to be like a Subaru where it's a PZEV, partial zero emissions vehicle.
It's going to be
where
partial zero.
Turns off at every intersection.
No, it's not getting
restarts.
that kind of behavior. It's not meant for that. It's done that. It's done its duty in that way, and it's never going to have to do that again. Now,
Stray Bullet says you should avoid making a spark near the battery, Tim. Well, it's not charging, so it's when it's charging that it gives off hydrogen. I know.
It won't give us no.
My friend Carl, who's not with us anymore, he had a 1.25-ton Jeep pickup, military Jeep, and there are 2 batteries underneath the seat, and I see him over there bending over, and he's doing something, and man, he had those batteries charging, and he made a spark or something, and one of the batteries, the top blew off of it. I see him coming back, big old face full of battery X. He laughed about it later. He didn't laugh about it that day. Yeah, it sounded smooth. It is. It's incredibly smooth sounding. It's really good. You put a spell on me. Man. Stray Bullet says, I had a battery explode while I was starting my truck once. Wow. Yeah, I've got a battery in the house that I use for CB radio. And that way it's, it's real, it's good power. It's not coming through a power supply that you have to straighten out the AC and all that stuff. That's why I use it. But then charge it in the house with a slow charge, and I'm like, man, I don't know if I like this. I think we should take it outside and charge it, because I know there's hydrogen gas coming off of it. So the day we did that, I wasn't too comfortable with it. It could Apollo 13 on you, man. I remember that really well. That same guy, Carl, that had the battery blow up, his father was he was an engineer that worked on the lunar module, and Carl said he grabbed some clothes and stuff and left, and he says he didn't see him for 3 days. And I guess his father just worked like 3 days straight, and they were trying to bring that thing back on whatever batteries they had left in the limb.
I don't know if that electrical rust removal is all that.
Well, it sure is making a lot of foam out there. I don't know if it's any good. I don't know if it's accomplishing what you want, but it sure is making a lot of foam.
I think you have to do it for a long, long time.
So have you disconnected it, or what you do?
I just rolled it around and looked at it a little bit.
What did it look like?
It looked like a little bit of rust is coming off that arm.
AGM batteries aren't so bad with sparks. Probably right.
Oh, really?
Man, that's the one thing I wish I would have done differently when I went up to that place that towed my car after the crash. Is grab my battery, because I had a yellow top Uh,
No, you can let it
Optima.
go. It's over now.
Yeah, I know. It's a $265 mistake. I could have taken any old battery up there and just stuck it in there, enough that they could turn it on and see the instruments light up, get the mileage off of it.
Yeah, they didn't know. They wouldn't have known.
They wouldn't have known.
Nobody's gonna know.
And that almost left. That was rolling. That wheel chock right there stopped it. Kim, what are you doing? What are you doing? We're not taking that apart.
No.
Not tonight. Well, we've been on here, what, 3.5 hours?
No.
Yeah.
Oh my.
I'm going low on sugar. I can tell I'm going low. So I really need to go home. How are you feeling?
That sounds like a good idea.
Okay.
I was
Because
losing
starting another project at whatever it is, half-past midnight.
half-assed midnight.
Half-past midnight. It's not a good idea.
Okay, but we've had so many people come.
We had such a good time here tonight.
Good conversation. You guys are great.
Yeah, yellow top batteries are dollars. Yeah, that thing was almost $300. It was like $280, 200. I don't remember what it was. I walked in the AutoZone, told him what I wanted. The guy looks at me, he goes, "You know how much that thing costs?" I said, "Yeah." And the reason I came here is I checked and you got one in stock. And he goes, "Yeah, we have one. You sure you want this?" "Yeah, I want it." And I went and I put it in my Mazda. Yeah, go eat Buff. Go eat Buff.
Yeah, I gotta feed him, guys.
See,
He's
it
got
depends.
diabetic tendencies.
That depends on where you put the comma. It's go eat Buff, not go eat Buff.
What are you suggesting? Oh my.
Well, who was it just did that? Somebody posted that. It was the comma makes the difference. It was go eat grandma or go eat grandma. Shit.
Soylent Green is people.
Oh man. If Bruce is still here, I'm sure he is. Bruce, I went to that movie in at Chinook Air Force Base when we were there. That Soylent Green movie was playing that summer when we were in school. I remember that. That was pretty funny. Crazy movie. Buffet, all you can eat. I think we're going to go to the kitchen buffet in the house and make. What do we have? It's got some carbs. I don't need a lot, just a little.
Well, is there still lettuce?
There is. Oh yeah, I can make a salad with that lettuce, and then
That
I
doesn't
can
have a
put.
lot of carbs.
No, I can put something in it. I need some. We don't have any croutons, do we? Croutons are so good. But see, earlier today I ate too many carbs, so yeah, I don't know. I like. Okay, tell me why you like the red top versus the yellow top. I love buffets. Me too.
They love buffets. We don't have a really good buffet.
Yes, we do.
Where? Where do we go?
No, we don't go very often, but there's a
Give me the spray cleaner so I can get my.
there's a what do you call it? I can't think what you call it. Golden Corral. There's a Golden Corral in town, and there's a couple of good Chinese buffets in town.
Oh, Kevin Smith says it's going to be a late night. He's still got to watch Cold War Motors. Aren't they selling all bunch of stuff?
Buff needs a Big Mac. You know how good a Big Mac is? And a Whopper with cheese.
We could go to Taco Bell.
I cannot eat a Whopper with cheese anymore. I used to eat 2 of them for like dinner. Now I can't eat a whole Whopper with cheese. I can eat a Whopper Junior, and I'm stuffed afterwards. Red Hornet. Takes some real skill to rebuild a generator with a hammer.
Yes.
Oh yeah, she's got a hammer and a screwdriver here.
Those are the things.
But she's got other tools.
You know what? That hammer is legitimately an important thing. When you're removing rusty bolts and screws, you want to jar them with a hammer before you try and turn them because it breaks up the rust crystals. So you do actually want to use a hammer. It's a real thing.
Red Hornet. How did you make that backwards E? I want to know how people do that. Stribble, I have 11-year-old. Napa battery that still holds a charge.
Whoa! Don't tell Napa; they'll be upset.
Red Hornet, did Kim lose the vice grips?
No, they're around.
I put away.
Somewhere.
I put a lot of pliers and vice grips and things like that away earlier tonight.
Well, how am I gonna find them if you put them away?
They're in the drawers where they're supposed to be.
Oh,
I came up here 45 minutes before we started the live, and for 45 minutes I put away tools.
And you barely made a dent, huh?
Well, there's still a lot of tools out. Yep.
I've been really busy. It takes a lot of tools to tear this car down. Did you guys see? It's just a frame. The motor's hanging on the stand.
See here.
Show them the car.
Ford wrench is a hammer. Hey, come on. Why don't you turn on the other? Oh, you're gonna turn on the other video, or is it off?
There's the car. There's the engine, and the frame's behind it.
I gotta move.
Look,
just a minute. I'll move.
Yeah, scooch over. Watch careful.
You see, there's the frame. I'm like way in the way. I'm so in the way.
It looks better with a little paint on it, doesn't it? That wheel needs air.
The wheel needs air.
Slowly getting down.
Tire needs air, yeah.
Maybe, Kevin. We're okay.
Oh.
They'll sort that stuff out. That's political.
Yeah, I want to stay after. I just can't keep the political stuff out of here.
I mean, it's just.
It's news that's going on.
It's what's it? Do they call it a Mexican standoff? I don't know why it's called a Mexican standoff.
I don't know. It's
a big posturing and
every country. I'm going to say something.
Go. Oh, it's getting political.
I am for a second. Every country has tariffs. Some of them call it an import tax. Some of them call it import duty. Something. Every country has tariffs except the U.S. until a month ago. Now we have them too. So anyway, let's see. Can I get an amen for a amen? Okay, so how do you make there is no E in tariff?
That's true. It sounds like there's an E,
what
though.
I'm looking for,
tariff.
How does Red Hornet make the backwards E? Okay, let's see here. Bruce, once I fixed the APU on a 727 with a hammer, which is something because I was supposed to be an avionics technician. I know what you did. You whacked the starter once. When it engaged. See, Bruce, the last 2 years I was in the Air Force, I was the NCOIC of an APU shop. I mean, no, that sounds like alphabet soup. I was in charge of an APU shop, which is the little jet engines that start big jet engines. So, yeah, anyway. So, oh, it's French. You got to go into the, you got to go in
the French alphabet.
I want to know there are some people that have their screen names are in italics. And I don't know how to do that in here either. So, not that I want to do it. I'm just curious how people do it. Okay, see, it's just like going in there and using Russian characters, the Cyrillic alphabet. Because I could do that and then nobody can read it, you know. But so I know how to do that. I just don't know how to do the backwards.
You guys are experiencing the Tennessee goodbye.
Yeah,
we're going to say everything again. Because that's the Tennessee goodbye. But that's just...
Nima. It's not French. It's not French. Well, what is it? What is the backwards E? I don't know what it is.
Oh, Dean did it! Dean did it!
What's that?
3 up. Nima. See, he's got the
I saw him. Oh, okay, yeah, I saw him do that.
They're all being slick now.
Well,
we're going to do a Google search when we get back to the house.
See that? You take a mirror and it says amen. Actually, Bruce says, I walked the 3-speed switch. I whacked probably the 3-speed switch, which had the centrifugal switch stuck in a running position. Well, I've seen APUs get changed in an airplane because they wouldn't start, and the only thing that was wrong is there's a oil pressure switch. And if it doesn't see oil pressure, I don't know what you call it, a 95% switch. If it gets up to 95% RPM and there's no oil pressure, or the oil pressure is low, it shuts it off. Well, see, you know, if the engine shuts off, it's 95% RPM. It's probably that switch. And I've seen engine changes because whoever's working on the flight line didn't know how to troubleshoot that. So we get an engine in the shop, and all it needs is you do an engine change instead of changing a oil
Sensor.
pressure switch.
Yeah.
That sucks because then the engine has to go through. We put the switch on it, test run it, and then it has to go through the whole QC procedure. And some crew out there had to change the engine on a C5 or a C141. Okay,
I'm going to take him to get something.
We're going to get out of here.
Everybody who's still here gets 3 points. Also, if you didn't get any ads tonight because you're a subscriber to YouTube, you get an additional 2 points. So,
and if Tavo's still here, thank you. And Bruce, thank you.
Yeah, thanks so much
super
for
chats.
super chats tonight. You guys are great supporting us, and we are getting things done. Sometimes it seems like it's going really slow. I have a video about the welding I can put together and get out for you guys if you're interested, but it's sort of, it's just me welding, so I don't know. But you get a close-up view at least of what that looked like. And
I got a short to put up as soon as we get home.
And we'll be able to be in the shop some tomorrow,
Straight bullets, right? Not telling the truth.
Straight.
1,162 points.
He's keeping track. Somewhere he got like 1,000 points. I don't know how.
Okay, we got to say goodnight.
All right. We're gonna be in the shop working tomorrow, so we'll have more progress to show you. Thanks, everybody.